Let's check on another tab if I'm on now. Maybe that's just what it is. Every time I go on YouTube, I have to go press I want to go live, and then it allows me to go live. Let me see. On your channel. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I figured it out. I figured out how it works. Okay, great. Let me turn this down a little bit. It's super bright. That's too dark. Not too bright, too dark. There you go. That's a little bit better. Got the blue. All right. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay, great. So I should be able to hear what I need to hear now. All right. Let me know in chat if you guys, if the echo's okay and all that good stuff. I was having an echo earlier today. Let's see. Let's go on YouTube. And let's just look at the bullshit today. Let's check out the bullshit we hear today. Let's see. Alright, what would we want to listen to? Oh, what's up with that briefing with the Epstein thing? Hold on, let me see. Epstein Trump update. Let's see, let's take this off. Yeah, this thing right here. What's going on with this?
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein,
yes.
It left some lingering mysteries.
Let me double check something real
One
quick.
of the biggest
Check 1
ones
2,
is
check 1 2.
whether he ever worked for a
Check 1 2,
American
check
or
1 2,
foreign
check 1
intelligence
2.
agency. Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering
Let me
mysteries.
double check something real
One of the
quick.
biggest
Check 1
ones
2,
is
check 1 2.
whether he ever worked for a
Check 1 2,
American
check
or
1 2,
foreign
check 1
intelligence
2.
agency. Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering
Let me double check
mysteries.
something
One of the biggest ones.
Okay. So I just need to get a mic at this point.
We'll
We'll get the mic.
Former Labor Secretary,
Mic's on
who
this
was
way.
Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the step?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey,
I
Pam,
could,
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah,
This
bro.
guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Fucking bullshit, dude. That's complete bullshit. So quickly. The comments, bro. Not suspicious at all. Exactly, bro. Fucking A. Not looking good, man. Release that shit. Let's see. What else is going on? Yeah, I want to hear this whole thing. Why not?
Are you able to get them all in the room? Are they in?
Yes, sir, they're in.
Are you okay? Thank you very much. We've had a tremendous 6 months, and we've had a tremendous 2 weeks. which now is, I guess, 3 weeks. And we have a tremendous group of people here that have done a great, unified, beautiful job. I want in particular, because of what she's gone through this last few days, done an incredible job. As you know, Christy, I'm going to ask you to say a few words about Texas. The first person there was the first person I saw on television was you, actually. And you've worked great with the governor, who's terrific. And you might want to tell a little bit about the trials and tribulations, but we appreciate the job that you and everybody have done. You had people there as fast as anybody's ever seen, so really appreciate it. We all do, and maybe you could say a few words.
Sure. Well, thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank you for your leadership. Texas is strong, and the people of Texas are incredibly strong. They've gone through something that is absolutely horrific.
Give them the FEMA. Give them the FEMA, dude. Give them the FEMA, all of it. Oh, I've been hearing there's scammers on FEMA too, though, where every disaster has people that call in and do scamming, trying to pretend like they're the victims. That's crazy.
And it is heartbreaking to watch these families suffer the way that they are. As soon as this flash flooding event happened, you know, the governor has activated his emergency responders. Nim Kidd is his emergency management director, who is incredible, and has immediately worked with the local first responders to get help to individuals and get them evacuated, put requests into me. We deployed, sir, right away, as you know, because you and I were talking a lot during this time, the Coast Guard. We also had some assets out of Customs and Border Protection. Our BORTAC teams went in and helped with rescues and clearing debris so that we could get roads open and people get the help that they need.
Shout out to the brave men and women out there that are helping them out in the flood situation right now, especially. I mean, I know you can train for it, but like finding a dead body of a child that you're trying to help, like, it's just like heartbreaking. I don't even know if I could do it emotionally. I want to help, trust, but like searching for people is probably one of the roughest things you could go through. I'm imagining.
When I got there the most, sir, that day, as soon as I arrived on site, was getting a briefing from all the emergency responders, was just how unified they were in focusing on the fact that we're there to save lives. They were there to rescue people, find people who were still alive, and to reunify them with their family members. We as a federal government don't manage these disasters. The state does. We come in and support them, and that's exactly what we did here in this situation. FEMA went to an enhanced level immediately, but as soon as you signed the major disaster declaration, we were able to get them resources and dollars right away, just like you envisioned, through state block grants to help them with cleanup. And we're still there in presence, and FEMA's been deployed, and we're cutting through the paperwork of the old FEMA, streamlining it much like your vision of how FEMA should operate, and it's been a much better response to help these families get through this terrible situation. We still are looking for people. We're still looking for a lot of little girls and other family members that were camping along that river, and they will continue until they find every single person, and we will continue to help them and assist in that. I was surprised when I got there at the camp that day.
How long is Trump over there right now? Is Trump in Texas right now? Is that where he's at? Is this where this meeting's being held?
Right after this happened, the parents that were there, the parents that were looking for their children and picking up their daughter's stuffed animals out of the mud and finding their daughter's shoe that might be...
Bro, finding your kid's stuff and can't you find the kid? I'd go fucking apeshit crazy.
Laying in the cabin, and just hugging and comforting people matters a lot. I'm extremely grateful for God's hand in that whole situation, because hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people were saved. And this is a time for all of us in this country to remember that we were created to serve each other. God created us to take care of each other. And that when we do that, we are happier, we are more fulfilled, and we can walk alongside
I love helping people, so I know what she means. Just like, especially when it's needed and like in the roughest situation, all you can do is have each other's back.
on their worst day and help them get through it and come out the other side, knowing that we can continue to live a life that God has purposed for us. So they're grateful for you. Several times the day after the flooding, you and Melania were on the phone with me, and I want to thank you for that. And that meant the world. I was able to tell many of those folks that I had been visiting with you and that you had said, whatever they need, Christy, let's deploy it and get it down there and be helpful. And on Sunday, when the families were waiting at a church to identify their children's bodies, Franklin Graham and I called in and prayed with the families and read some scripture with them, and he was incredible in making himself available to that as well. We'll be back down there in a couple of days and continue to do all we can, but this is an unprecedented event. It really is. There's been tragedies like this around the country, but everyone is unique in different situations, and the response the federal government had supporting the state through this, I'm proud of the people that stepped up and immediately came. The Coast Guard, when they came in, they had a difficult time even getting the aircraft in and landed. They had to try several times in the weather to get it in and deploy, and I think we've heard about our one Coast Guard member that was responsible for saving over 165 people, but that entire crew did incredible work. And all the first responders there did incredible work. And I know people are getting tired now, but they're getting reinforcements and volunteers are showing up. And I just want to commend the governor and his team for being the leaders. And they're so thankful that you're letting them make the decisions and manage the response like it should be. And then us supporting them with the resources of the federal government. We've already deployed dollars to the state, much like the block grants that you've talked about. Right. So they're grateful for that, sir.
There's never been a wave like this outside of the breaking of a dam. Because this was almost a wave that ended up being 30 feet high, more actually. Now with the dam you can understand it, but this approached almost with that speed. When you see a dam break, it's not a pretty sight. It wipes out everything, and this is the kind of thing that built up so fast. And it's happened 2 or 3 times before over the years, but not to this extent. But tell them when you met the father who was picking up the daughter's clothing. And
I had walked through the cabin where all the little...
Man, shout out to that father, brother. One of the hardest things you could do, having your kid pass away before you do. Like, fuck.
Died, and I had kind of fallen apart in there, but I walked out of the cabin, and a gentleman was standing there, and he said, that man over there needs a hug. And so I walked over to him, and I hugged him, and I said, do you work here? And he said, no, my little girl was in that cabin. And he said, and I just found her best friend about an hour and a half ago. She had passed away. And he just fell apart. And so then we just hugged and talked for probably an hour about that. But then there was the grandpa was there looking for his granddaughter as well. There was a dad there of one of the counselors.
It sounds so fucking hopeless. It sounds so hopeless, bro. Fucking A. Ugh.
The counselor was alive, but she was dealing with the fact that she had hung on to some of these girls and was trying to keep them out of the floodwaters, and had gotten hit by something and had lost 2 of the girls and wasn't able to hang on to them, and was going to live the rest of her life thinking about that moment when she wasn't able to hang on to these girls. But these...
Bro, that survivor's guilt of not being able to hold on to somebody, especially kids, that is haunting. That is haunting. At that point, like, do you just go with them to, like, try to... Oh my god, that is pretty fucking... Yeah, that's the brutal mentality from then on out. Survivor's guilt like crazy, and the fact that your body gave out and you could do nothing about it. That's terrible.
parents were picking up their kids' belongings out of the mud and throughout the camp and putting them in bags. And then one of the dads said, I knew 50 of these girls here. So I knew that was her dress. It's my daughter's friend's dress. So he was picking it up and putting it in a bag to return to her parents. And so it was and then the director was there comforting everybody who had lost his father the night before too, and he was still there trying to facilitate all of these parents grieving their children and find them. So the strength of people is incredible. One of the things that I asked there that day was that they all have escorts or counselors when parents come in. So from that point, that when they came into the camp, that they have somebody with them when they're going and looking for their children's belongings or looking for their children. And so very emotional, but also just so tragic.
The relationship with Texas and the governor has been obviously very good for years with me, but the relationship with Texas and their first responders and us, with our first responders and lots of other people, and we brought in a lot of helicopters from all over, and we had a lot of helicopters. It was actually dangerous, a lot of helicopters up there, but they were real pros, and they were responsible for pulling out a lot of people, and we got them there fast, and Texas had some good ones too, but the response has been incredible, and the fact that we got along so well, I don't know, I don't even think that's a political thing, but we got along so well, and it was so unified. I think a lot of lives have been saved. That could have been as bad as it was, you could have lost double or triple. This thing was just really horrible. Well, congratulations on a great job, and I appreciate it. I know you're going down. I'll be going down on Friday with First Lady, who would be taking a trip, and we don't want to get in anyone's way because that's what happens. The president goes and everyone's around focused on. I don't want anyone to focus on us, but it's possible they could have somebody saved still. There's a lot of areas.
Yeah, there's still a chance for people to get saved, so I'm glad they're still out there in the wreckage trying to help out.
Big area, and probably
like there was a girl stuck in a tree, and a person that had a porch went outside the porch to go check out the damage, and the girl was screaming for help in the tree across the street. Luckily, he was able to see her and call for help, and they got her down.
Unlikely at this point, but there could be. They're thinking there could be the possibility, but what a tragic situation. A good job, and we'll see you on Friday, and we'll finish out the day here. I think you've been reading a lot about it's a terrible topic when you talk about financial after this, but we have a big country, and we've been doing very well. The tariffs, as you know, are starting to come in at record levels. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in.
Okay, so we're going from the tragic to the success. All right, I'm following along.
To our country, we never did that before. We're not used to it. We only have tariffs going out. We only adhered to the rules of other nations who charged us tremendous tariffs because we were led by stupid people or people without any business sense. And I'd like to ask God, you could maybe talk a little bit about how well we're doing with regard to the money coming in. And the big money will start coming in on August 1st. I think it was made clear today by the letters that were sent out yesterday and today. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. We will have taken in about $100 billion in tariff income thus far this year, and that's with the tariff, the major tariff not having started till the second quarter. So we could expect that could be well over $300 billion by the end of the year. We don't agree with CBO scoring, but for those who do, the CBO scored tariff income over the next 10 years at $2.8 trillion, which we think is probably low. And sir, under your leadership, we're witnessing.
And they gave us no credit during this last little, the great, big, beautiful bill. I always use the word great. I add that to it because it really is what it is. It's never been anything like it, actually. And I want to thank all the Republicans that voted for it. And I want to, scold the Democrats because they're voting for tax cuts. They're voting for no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. And you know, many other things far more important than that. Great health care. And frankly, every Democrat should lose their election because it was purely political vote. They were told not to vote for it. So think of it. We got 218 to 2. And then with the Senate, we had 50 to 3. Democrats didn't vote at all. Not one positive vote, with all of the good things in there. Economic development money, tremendous border money. Now you're loaded up on the border. And I don't think we're going to need so much of it because we had zero come in last month, so I'm not sure how much of it we want to spend. You may think about that. You may actually think about saving a lot of money because the wall's been largely built and it obviously worked. But you may want to think about that. But so I think it's incredible when I watch the Democrats and they have standard lines like they had Russia. They had the laptop from hell. It all came from Russia. You know, they make things up and they go with it and they feed it to you people in many cases. And they said, here's a line. And I hear the new line is death. Oh, it's death. Everyone's going to die. There's nothing to do with that. In fact, we're saving our country. Death is from allowing 25 million people into our country, of which 3 or 4 are stone cold, hard criminals. 11,888 are murderers, many of them committing more than one murder. That's death, and the Democrats did that. Joe Biden did that by allowing people to come in here just totally unchecked, unvetted, open borders. The whole world was dumped.
Damn, bro, how many times are you going to say this?
Our country, from prisons, from gangs, from mental institutions. We have many people walking the streets, walking in areas that we don't know anything about, that came out of insane asylums. They released the insane asylum population into our country, and it's amazing the job that you and Tom Homan are doing, by the way, on that. But we have to get them out, and we have no choice. We have to get them out, and we are getting them out. And so, Pete, you want to tell them about our great military and how well we did with respect to the bombers and the B-2 when we had the pilots here 2 days ago, and they were incredible people. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Truly a historic mission and demonstrated the skill and courage of the United States military. From those B-2 pilots and families that we had a chance to meet, sir, to the fighter pilots, to the refuelers, to the maintainers, to the air defenders who defended the base. What was demonstrated on the world stage was American military might and capability. And it wasn't just Fordo and Esfahan and Natanz that took notice in Iran. It was the rest of the world. That we have a decisive commander-in-chief willing to use these capabilities, which are the best in the world, as the president pointed out.
Yeah, they got those bunker busters. 14 in a hill, bro. That facility, I'm pretty sure, is gone. It probably slowed down Iran nuclear creation, but I'm pretty sure they're still going to go at it. Like, why wouldn't they? If they were able to get all the uranium out, the refined uranium, I think it was like 60%, they said. They could just build it somewhere else. But until then,
No one else could have done what America did there on that night, and everyone took notice of that. With the One Big Beautiful Bill, sir, we've got $150 billion additional to invest in Golden Dome and all the other weapons systems and stockpiles and shipbuilding priorities of yours. Another month, another historic recruiting bump. It's not just the Army and the Marine Corps anymore, it's the Navy, the Air Force, and the Space Force, all historically ahead of where they've ever been. So historic spirit inside the military. We had a chance to be at NATO, Marco and I, and see how the world responds to us saying it's time for you to shoulder the burden and take the lead for your continent. That only happens with President Trump leading. And we're proud to be a part of what's going on at the border, sir, with now a 4th national defense area where we're helping get to that number 0 and securing the border. But that mission, Operation Midnight Hammer, re-established deterrence.
that was a huge success. Like, nobody knew that planes went over 30 hours of flying, all fueling in the air, and we bombed them and we got back home. Or the boys got back home. The boys and girls got back home and they were safe. That was crazy. They even sent out a decoy going the opposite way, I think to Guatemala or Guam or something like that. And while the real ones were going to Iran. That's pretty crazy.
First, what happened in Afghanistan. You saw the debacle of what Biden allowed to happen in Afghanistan and what that did to our image.
Oh, the 14 billion or something like that of supplies stuck over there. That was pretty bad. No way to spend that one. That's pretty bad.
President Trump said, with Operation Midnight Hammer, we're reestablishing American leadership and deterrence, and we're proud to be a part of it, sir.
And our so-called enemies were watching. They watched every minute of it. They watched. There was very few people that weren't watching, actually, but they watched every minute. It was a perfect military performance, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, if you compare that to the same country, the hostages from years ago, Jimmy Carter, it was unfortunate for Jimmy Carter. He was a nice man, but with the helicopters going down, the sandstorms, the prisoners, they got captured, then the election and the prisoners and Reagan and all the problems. It was nothing but problems. And that was a failure. And ours was not only the pilots, I mean, those machines flew for 37 straight hours. They didn't stop. They went skedaddle. You know the word skedaddle? It means skedaddle. They dropped the bombs, and somebody said, skedaddle. Let's get the hell out of here. And
What the fuck is he saying, bro? Skedaddle.
hit its mark and hit it incredibly. And as you know, the Atomic Energy Commission said it's gone. That place is gone. We had a lot of fake reporting, mostly from CNN, where the scammer a writer for CNN, who should be fired, by the way, she was involved with the 51 fake intelligence agents, if you remember that. She did that story, created a story out of it. She created a story out of the laptop from hell, saying it came from Russia, but it actually came from Hunter Biden's.
Okay, I was like, is she talking about Hunter Biden right now? Yeah, I think he's talking about Hunter Biden. Okay.
Bedroom or worse. And just a scammer, and she's still at CNN, which is pretty amazing. But we'll ask you a question about her. But they came up with this concept that maybe the attack wasn't that good. Maybe it, and I saw it happen right after the attack. I saw this person on CNN. I like to watch the enemy. You learn from the enemy, and I watch because you have to know where they're
Why does
coming
he keep
from.
doing that?
And I watched her say, Anderson, you know, I'm hearing stories that maybe they didn't hit their target, maybe it wasn't that good a hit. And they were hearing stories. The next day it was a little more, and the next day a little more. After 3
Okay, there it is.
days, she was saying, you know, I don't know. I don't think it was that. Except by that time everybody knew it was hit perfectly. The evidence is in the planes. The evidence, the pilots are the best evidence. But they actually came out of their plane because they were here the other day and they said, it was so sad. We did such a good job. We flew into very dangerous airspace. I'll never forget, we were in the situation room. And they said they have entered Iranian airspace, and everyone took a deep breath because they had more missiles pointed at them, but the equipment is so good, it's stealth, way up in the air, and it was stealth, and they went right through that. And
Dang, all the missiles were ready for them, but the missile couldn't track them. That's how they got away with it. That's crazy.
by the time they found out they were there, they were already gone. That was the word skedaddle, get the hell out of here. But they were right in the most dangerous airspace in the world, and they took those big, beautiful, very fast, they're unbelievable planes. I mean, they become really beautiful works of art. You know, I always thought they sort of were cool, but now they look better than just cool, don't they, huh? But they dropped the loads, and literally they would hit, if you look at this table, from here to there, they had a half a refrigerator door is the way to best explain it. Take a refrigerator door, average size, cut it in half. That was their target. They hit every single one. Then we had 30 minutes.
So they had about half a refrigerator door. That's like what, 3 feet? 3.5 feet? Because I figured like most freezers like 6 feet. So 3 feet?
Tomahawk shot from submarines 300 miles away. Every one of them hit their target. It was a perfect mission. Then they came back almost 37 hours. Every plane worked perfectly. The mechanics were here too. I said, you got to get the mechanics here. We didn't have any problems. If you remember, they had a lot of problems with the helicopters, but they did fly through a dust storm, which they shouldn't have done. Sometimes you say, let's go back and try it on a nicer day. Dust and sand don't work well with helicopters if you know much about helicopters, but that was a horrible embarrassment to us. Then we had Afghanistan, which I think was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, and we would have gotten out. I was the one that got them down. I would have kept Bagram, the big air base, which right now is controlled by China, among the most powerful runways in the world, thick with concrete and steel.
China definitely has our number, guys. Just letting you know, China is the biggest player we know.
Anything could land, and right now they were 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. I was keeping it. Outside of that, we were leaving, and I would have been out faster than them, but we would have gotten out with strength and dignity. Instead, that was the most botched up mess I've ever seen. They left all that equipment behind, and every year they have a parade running down some third-rate street with the equipment. You know, it's supposed to be Fifth Avenue. It doesn't work. But with all that equipment that they left, they should have taken every ounce of it. I was taking every ounce. I said every screw, every bolt, every nail you take out of there. And Millie said, I remember one time, so we're better off leaving the equipment. Why? Well, it's cheaper. I said, cheaper? You mean it's cheaper to leave a $150 million airplane rather than flying it into Pakistan or India or someplace, or just flying it straight home? It's cheap. Yes, sir. That's when I knew he was an idiot. Didn't take long to figure that one out. But they left all that equipment, but they left their dignity behind. It was the most embarrassing moment, in my opinion, in the history of our country. Not that we got out. We should have not been there, but that we got out the way we got out, with great embarrassment and death. You had 13 young people. I've gotten to know their families very well, but you had hundreds of people killed that nobody talks about. You had the other side, many people were killed. Many people are walking around with no legs, no arms from that whole thing. They left from the wrong airport. They should have left from Bagram, because Bagram was a big base with hundreds of miles of fencing and territory around it. Nobody would be able to get near it. And they left. So, we've done a great job. And I think people are really starting to see it. They're starting to appreciate it. Pete's done fantastically. That mission was a work of art. And I have spoken to some of our perceived, I don't know if they're enemies, but they're perceived as being potential enemies. And they essentially said the same thing. Very impressive. There wasn't a thing that we didn't lose an engine. We didn't lose it. They landed and they were cheered. But the sad thing was they were cheered, and one of the pilots said, we were a little concerned because when we got out, we were told that on television they were reporting that we may have missed our targets. Sir, we hit every target. That's what I do for a living. We hit every target. In fact, when I saw...
If you don't reassure your president that you did hit the target, you're fired that day, bro.
dropped, when the bombs hit, a yellow haze came over the horizon that I've never seen before. It just lit up the whole horizon, brighter than the sun. It was like looking into the sun. He goes, we hit our target, because you know what that was exploding. And but they were a little downbeat because they listened to that fake CNN reporting and the fake New York Times. They worked together to try and say that it wasn't perfect. They couldn't say what they missed. All they could say is, maybe it wasn't perfect. And you ought to fire that reporter immediately. You should fire her. Real fake. And so I just want to congratulate those pilots. And, a lot of people don't like bringing things like that up. I do. I always like confronting, because otherwise the public doesn't know that you're a bunch of crooked people. But they know, they've learned. And the media has to straighten out their act. The media is down to 17% approval. You got to do a little better than that. It's important for the country that you do better. I think they are.
Yeah, but that's just like politic talk, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of changes. I think changes are going to be made to the media, but it's hard to have a really successful country if you have a corrupt media, and we really have a corrupt media, and nobody really knows why.
Hey.
I mean, why would you want to have?
Hey, we won. I didn't think we were gonna win that one.
Open borders and criminals pouring into our country. Why would you want to have men playing in women's sports, transgender for everyone, you know. You'll have to figure that out. But some of you don't. I mean, I'm looking at some people, they love the country, but I look at other people and they can't. But we're really proud of our military. It was, and the people that maybe don't like us or want to play games with us, because I think that had you not had the situation in Afghanistan, I don't think Putin would have gone in. I think when Putin looked at how stupid and incompetent that operation was, he said, wow, this might be a chance. And
Oh, yeah. You talking about Biden thing again? Got it.
he's, we're dealing with him now too. We're not happy with Putin. I'm not happy with Putin. I can tell you that much right now, because he's killing a lot of people. And a lot of them are his soldiers and their soldiers, mostly. And it's now up to 7,000 a week. And I'm not happy with Putin. Okay, any questions?
Bro, I've been seeing like the drone kills on like Instagram. I don't know how it's getting through the censorship, but yeah, I've been seeing like moments. I think it's called war moments or moments of war, and the drone shots that sometimes are happening. I'm like, wow, it sucks. That's some inhumane warfare right there. You can't even fight back. It's just a drone flying at you, bro.
Yes.
Yes, sir. You just said you're not happy with Vladimir Putin. Is there anything that you plan to do to act on that feeling of
Well, I
unhappiness?
wouldn't be telling you. Don't we want to have a little surprise? You know, one of the things we did with the attack is that, and you asked that question, I didn't mean to be rude, but I'm in a rude because I'm looking at some of these crooked people up here, so I'm rude, but your question was asked very nicely. But one of the things we did is we went over every fact. We wanted to get every fact straight. We wanted to have the distance straight, the number of pilots straight. Everything had to be correct, because we want to be, this was a very important mission. If we failed on this mission, it was beyond the war that, you know, obviously we had with Iran and Israel. A lot of hatred, a lot of years and years of hatred, centuries of hatred. People have never seen anything like it. So we wanted to be correct with all our facts. So, you know, what I was doing is just asking, it would be great if the media would be correct with their facts. That's all we ask for. So, go ahead. So finish it up.
Oh, yes. Just returning back to Russia, if there's anything that you would signal about your displeasure with them.
Well, look, I'm very unhappy with them. There's no reason for this. It's turned out to be tougher, but it's only tougher. And I will say the Ukrainians were brave, but we gave them the best equipment ever made. We gave them the anti-tank busters that knocked out tanks. I mean, you just aim them in the direction of the tank and the tank is gone. We gave them missiles, the latest and the greatest. They were able to shoot down a lot of things that would have normally wiped out. You know, probably would have been a very quick war. It would have been a war that lasted 3-4 days, but they had the benefit of unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, we gave them everything, bro. We gave them a lot of money. How many billions did we give them? Like 90 billion the first time? No, 160 billion? I forget. Crazy.
Equipment. And Europe gave them too. We gave them far more because Biden shouldn't have done that. He should have equalized.
Because we need the war hawks to get money.
He should have given them the same, or we should have given actually less than Europe. It affects Europe much more than us, but we're in there for over $300 billion. Europe's in there for over $100 billion, but still, Europe gave a lot. And I will say...
And they getting taxed the shit out of it. No, from what I gather, we got the contracts to rebuild that country. That's how we're getting paid back, supposedly. Well, not we, but the people that are a deep state elite get paid back.
The Ukrainians, whether you think it's unfair that we gave all that money or not, they were very brave because somebody had to operate that stuff. And a lot of people I know wouldn't be operating it. They wouldn't have the courage to do it. So they fought very bravely. But we gave them the best equipment in the world. We make the best military equipment by far. There's nobody close. You look at other equipment from other countries, it's not even close. That's why everybody wants to buy our equipment. And that's why we're going to step up these contractors now that make it, and they're brilliant, but they make it too slowly. And we have to step them up, Pete, and let them make it at a much higher rate. Unfortunately, we have to do that. But if you look at our Patriots, if you look at our Tomahawks, if you look at our, well, what we do with tanks is you wouldn't want to be driving a tank. You would feel nice and secure. But they are javelins, they're called. And I gave them the javelins. Remember they said Trump gave the javelins and Obama gave them sheets, right? They called Obama at that time. Barack Hussein Obama, if you haven't.
Barack Hussein Obama. I haven't heard of him in what. Where's he been at?
Did a terrible job. But that was a war that should have never happened, and a lot of people are dying, and it
What's going on with the? Is that me?
should right now.
Oh, the audio went out.
It's not even tested. Totally at my option, and to terminate totally at my option, and I'm looking at it very strongly. Gave them missiles, the latest and the greatest. They were able to shoot down a lot of things that would have normally wiped out. You know, probably would have been a very quick war. It would have been a war that lasted 3-4 days, but they had the benefit of unbelievable equipment. And Europe gave them, so we gave them far more because Biden shouldn't have done that. He should have equalized. We should have given him the same, or we should have given actually less than Europe. It affects Europe much more than us, but we're in there for over $300 billion. Europe's in there for over $100 billion, but still, Europe gave
$300 billion of our tax money went over to Ukraine. It's fucking insane.
And I will say this, the Ukrainians, whether you think it's unfair that we gave all that money or not, they were very brave because somebody had to operate that stuff. And a lot of people I know wouldn't be operating it. They wouldn't have the courage to do it. So they fought very bravely. But we gave them the best equipment in the world. We make the best military equipment by far. There's nobody close. You look at other equipment from other countries, it's not even close. That's why everybody wants to buy our equipment. And that's why we're going to step up these contractors now that make it, and they're brilliant, but they make it too slowly. And we have to step them up, Pete, and let them make it at a much higher rate. Unfortunately, we have to do that. But if you look at our Patriots, if you look at our Tomahawks, if you look at our, well, what we do with tanks is you wouldn't want to be driving a tank. You would feel nice and secure. But they are javelins, they're called. And I gave them the javelins. Remember they said Trump gave the javelins and Obama gave them sheets, right? They called Obama.
All right, this is when it went dead.
That time, Barack Hussein Obama, if you haven't heard, did a terrible job. But that was a war that should have never happened, and a lot of people are dying, and it.
Okay, it's not me. It was the video. It's gonna come back in a bit. I thought it was me that messed up the audio. But you can still clearly hear the game.
Be
There it is.
meaningless.
Do you want to sanction him? Lindsey Graham has a sanctions bill on Russia. Do you want him to move
I'm
that
looking
down?
at it. Yeah, no, I'm looking. The Senate is passing, and passed a very, very tough sanctions bill. Yeah, I'm looking at
And
it.
you'd sign that?
It's an optional bill. It's totally at my option. They passed it totally at my option, and to terminate totally at my option. And I'm looking at it very strongly.
Yesterday you said you want to see more
Go ahead, please.
The Council of Economic Advisors released a new report saying that imported goods have actually decreased in price from December
I know, it's not
through
even
March.
mentioned.
Well, my question is,
With the tariffs.
Well, the Fed chairman keeps saying that tariffs are going to cause price increases.
Are we
the
sure?
prices just not
Chairman
passed
of the
through?
Fed?
Yes, exactly. Are the prices,
You do a better job than him.
Are the prices just not passed through yet?
No, I think what's happening is everything's evening out. You know, when we charge, see, what people don't understand, the other countries have been charged, almost every country charges us tariffs. We had deficits with everybody for years, for decades. And we were like this big monolith that made bad deals with everybody. We rebuilt South Korea, we stayed there. It's okay, we rebuilt it, and we stayed there. And they pay us very little for the military. I got them to pay billions of dollars, and Biden then canceled it when he came in. You know, I said to South Korea, as an example, we give you free military, essentially, very little. And I think you should pay us $10 billion a year. And they went crazy. But they agreed to 3. So I got 3 with a phone call. And I was satisfied. I said, but next year we have to talk. And then we had a rigged election and we never got to talk. And you know what Biden did? They probably went to him and they said, listen, Trump treated us terribly and we shouldn't be paying anything. And he cut it down to nothing. So that's what happens. It's ridiculous. That's the other thing. We're talking to countries about contributing to the military, not only just paying more in NATO, but contributing. You know, we have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in Germany, 52,000 actually.
It's pretty much just us holding it down for NATO.
And, you know, that's a huge economic development for them. That's tremendous amount, just like having a city. It's tremendous money for them, and it's a tremendous loss for us. So we're talking, in a very nice way, we're talking to them about it. It's very unfair. We supply the militaries to many very successful countries. I mean, South Korea is making a lot of money, and they're very good. They're very good, but, you know, they should be paying for their own military.
President Trump, can I ask you a question about Jerome Powell as well, and then a question to the Attorney General? Jerome Powell, and then I have a question for the Attorney General. Jerome Powell, who you've been pressuring to lower interest rates, he's facing accusations of lying to Congress, which is a potential crime about the opulence.
Well, he should resign immediately. We should get somebody in there that's going to lower interest rates.
Do you want congressional
Why don't
Republicans
you go for his resignation?
Do you want congressional Republicans to investigate and
It's
pursue
okay
and
with
punish?
me. I think he's terrible. I think, look, we're paying, I call him Too Late. T-O-O, Too Late. Like Too Tall Jones for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Too late.
Too late.
He's always late. But he wasn't late with Biden before the election. He was cutting him like crazy.
We call him too late. I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about, bro. That shit's funny, though.
Didn't help too much, did it? But he was cutting him like crazy before the election with Kamala. And Biden, he was trying to get them in, I guess. I don't know. He was recommended by somebody that worked for me. I like you better.
If I could ask the Attorney General.
Sure.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the set?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey,
I
Pam,
could,
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about.
This is the clip that I saw on Instagram. Let's see what happens. It kind of pissed me off.
Years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn.
Okay, so what they're saying is that there's only child porn on those tapes, nothing else in the media to show. So there's no list, is what she's saying. There's nobody on the flight. We need the flight logs, all right? Everybody on the flight logs.
They were never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video.
The video that she's talking about is the video missing when Epstein kills himself. So somehow Epstein knew that during that 1 minute of each day, for some reason, oh, I'm like, what's that sound? It's my fucking earrings. Okay. 1 minute of each day, he knew when to kill himself. So when the tapes are off for 1 minute, that's when he hung himself, supposedly. And the guards just went missing out of nowhere. Everybody just fucking vanished for a minute, and then he's fucking hanging.
Not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Mr. President, on the tariffs again. On
That's it on Epstein? You're tripping, bitch.
August, you said it is the deadline. What incentives do countries have to negotiate? It seems that deadline keeps moving. It was April 2nd, now it's...
We didn't move, no. It's always...
Look how uncomfortable she looks when she says that, too. Check this out. Check how uncomfortable she looks when she's saying that. I know she's lying.
Same minute missing,
Look,
so we're
right
looking
here.
for that video to release that
Right here, when she says that's it on Epstein, she fixes her hair. That's self-comfort right there.
as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
She didn't even look up when she said that's it. She had to look down. That's it. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Don't engage with me. And then she fixes her hair for self-comfort.
Reset, and every night should have the same minute missing, so we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Mr. President, on the tariffs, on August 1st.
Nah, that's not it. That's not just it.
It is the deadline. What incentives do countries have to negotiate?
We need to press on their necks on this stuff, for real. Don't let that go. Whoever's in that journalist room, do not let that go. Do not let that go. I'm pissing off my opponents on accident. I don't even mean to do it, but like, because I'm taking forever to actually make moves, because I'm actually paying attention to the video, that they're getting pissed off and letting me wait early. My bad, y'all. I'm trying to do two things at once.
The deadline keeps moving. It was April 2nd, now it's...
We didn't move, no. It's always been August 1st, that's when we're paying. A statement was being put out today, and I put it out just to make it clear. It wasn't a change, it was August 1st. We don't change very much, you know. Every time we put out a statement, they say he made a change. I didn't make a change. A clarification, maybe. No, August 1st they pay. And everybody pays, everybody has to pay, and the incentive is that they have the right to deal in the United States. If they don't want to, they don't have to pay, and they don't have to deal here. But if they want to buy and make a lot of money and sell in the United States, they have to do that. You know, if you go back and look at some of the good presidents, our country was the wealthiest, proportionately the wealthiest. From 1870 to 1913, it was an all-tariff country. We didn't have income tax. That came in in 1913. We had tariffs, and we had so much money we didn't know what to do with it. We had, we had a couple of presidents that were very, very strong. McKinley, I guess, more than anybody, but he was the tariff king. But he was very, very strong. It's sort of sad. He made a fortune for this country, became very rich, and then Teddy Roosevelt went out and vice president, and he spent the money. And they said Roosevelt was a great president. And let's say he was a great president, but the money was paid by McKinley with tariffs.
Yeah, I've been hearing, like, he wasn't that great of a president. And, like, I guess he had a third term because of a war. It's Teddy Roosevelt. And it was because of the empathy, because he was a cripple. But in real life, he was an asshole. From what I mean, I don't know. History books say one thing, people say another thing.
Are charged by other countries at levels that are ridiculous. And you know, I call those other countries, and every one of them is willing to give us everything now, by the way, just so you know. Sir, we'll charge you no tariffs, nothing. We'll give you everything. We'll give you access to our markets. We'll give you everything. Is that a correct statement, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Howard, would you say that's a correct statement?
Exactly correct.
It's like...
Yes, man, number one. Is that correct? Yes. Yes, man, number two. Is that correct? Yes.
Just don't Because they're very spoiled, because for years they ripped us off and we didn't have a president that understood it, or Secretary of Treasury or Secretary of a lot of different secretaries are involved, but certainly Commerce Secretary was, not doing their job. I don't know about Kelly, she's small business, we'll keep it that way, okay? Her small business is bigger than almost all big businesses when you add it all up. But no, they are very respectful of our country, but the incentive is that they have the right to do business with us. Without that, they don't have the right to do business, and that would be okay too.
And will there be a flurry of deals? We're going to hear in the next 24 hours. Will we hear a flurry of deals?
Yeah, we have a lot of them going out, but the deals are mostly my deal to them. We're picking a number that's low. We don't want to hurt them, and fair. We're picking a number that's lower than, in most cases, lower than what they charged us. But it's amazing when you've paid all this money for years and they get one president that's a little bit different and a little tougher on this subject, and they're willing to drop everything they've been charging us for years and years. I mean, we have countries going, we will have you don't.
Hold on, I'm missing something. Let me go back. Sorry, I was paying attention to the game.
Picking a number that's low.
Next 24 hours, will we hear a flurry of deals?
Yeah, we have a lot of them going out, but the
Okay, he's talking about 24 hours because the 90 days is up by tomorrow, I think. So by which he said 90 days, 90 deals, but I think they got like two done.
Mostly my deal to them. We're picking a number that's low. We don't want to hurt them, and fair. We're picking a number that's lower than, in most cases, lower than what they charged us. But it's amazing when you've paid all this money for years and they get one president that's a little bit different and a little tougher on this subject, and they're willing to drop everything they've been charging us for years and years. I mean, we have countries going, we will have you don't have to pay any tariff to come in and do business. They're giving us total access to their countries. They gave us no access to the country. And they say, well, you cannot go into our country. Okay, good. Now we will give you total access and you don't have to pay any tariffs. But please don't charge us tariffs. And we don't like that deal. So the letters I send out are, we have made some deals. We can make a lot more deals. It's just too time consuming. It just makes it more complicated. And we can do things over the years too. We're not hard line. But it's about time the United States of America started collecting money from countries that were ripping us off and laughing behind our back.
Yeah, you're gonna be laughing behind our backs and we're helping you out. That's not gonna work.
How stupid we were. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. President,
On the tariff issue, so you've talked about India coming, but then a couple days ago you issued a new tariff threat to members of the BRICS countries for if they aligned with anti-American policies.
10% charge.
That would be India, Brazil,
That's
Russia,
right, they have
South
to pay
Africa.
10% if they're in BRICS. Because BRICS was set up to hurt us. BRICS was set up to degenerate our dollar and take our dollar as the standard, take it off as the standard. And that's okay if they want to play that game, but I can play that game too. So anybody that's in BRICS is getting a 10% charge.
Is that immediate, sir, or is
Yeah,
that
pretty
if
soon.
they engage in some?
I gotta look up BRICS. I don't know what I keep hearing it, but I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna look it up real quick. Let me look up another tab real quick. BRICS. New window. Google. BRICS. BRICS nations. What's this? BRICS meaning. What's BRICS? What is BRICS? BRICS is an intergovernmental organization comprising of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, aimed at greater economic geopolitical integration among member states. It originally denoted rapidly growing economies expected to dominate the 21st century. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 players in the game for BRICS. So we're going to be tariffing Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So low-key, these are kind of enemy of the state right now, economically. All right. Now I know what it is. Especially Brazil. Oh, okay. BRICS is the acronyms for Brazil. Okay, I see it now. Got it. Okay, BRICS. Let's see it.
Well, if they're a member of BRICS, they're going to have to pay 10% tariff just for that one thing, and they won't be a member long. I thought BRICS was, I said this about a year ago, and it largely broke up. But, there are a couple that hang around, but I thought it largely broke up. BRICS is not, in my opinion, not a serious threat. But what they're trying to do is destroy the dollar so that another country can take over and be the standard. And we're not going to lose the standard at any time. If you have a smart president, you will never lose the standard. If you have a stupid president like the last one, you would lose the standard. You wouldn't have the dollar as you. And if we lost the world standard dollar, that would be like losing a war, a major world war. We would not be the same country any longer. We're not going to let that happen. The dollar, you ever hear the expression, dollar is king? The dollar is king. We're going to keep it that way, okay?
Fuck, that's a tall order, bro. Our dollar bill's going down. But, especially we got 5 countries, 2 heavy hitters in BRICS. And then a third, which is India, is climbing up the ranks. The other 2 are like whatever. They're cannon fodder. They're the trash mob, some would say.
And I'm just saying, if people want to challenge it, they can, but they're going to have to pay a big price. And I don't think any of them are willing to pay that price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Are you optimistic about reaching the tariff deal with the European Union soon?
Well, the European Union has been speaking to us, Ursula and the whole group, and they've been very nice. They treated us very badly until recently. Now they're treating us very nicely. It's like a different world, actually. They've treated us very badly. They were among the toughest to deal with. Actually, in many respects, they were much worse than China. Look at what they do to our companies. They sue Apple. They sue Google. $17 billion they got from Apple on a lawsuit that they didn't have a case. They have, judges that are European Union judges. And they take so much money away from our country in terms of that, in terms of other things that they do. They're very tough. But now they're being very nice to us, and we'll see what happens. We're probably 2 days off from sending them a letter. We are talking to them. I just want you to know, a letter means a deal. A lot of people said, we got 200 countries. We can't meet with 200 countries. We have a few trusted people that know what they're doing, that are doing a good job, but you can't do it. You have to do it in a more general way, but it's a very good way. It's a better way. It's a more powerful way. And we sent them a letter. You read the letter. I think it was well crafted. And mostly it's just a little number in there. You'll pay 25%, 35%. We have some at 60, 70. Those are ones with massive, where we have massive trade deficits because they've treated us very badly. But I would say in every case, I'm treating...
Brazil is going to get their ass kicked, for sure. You're lucky you're in Mexico. Or damn near Mexico, because I wonder how that relation's gonna go.
Them better than they treated us over the years. Don't you agree with that? I do. I could have done much. I could have been much harsher. I don't want to do that. We want to have relationships, but in every case, they treated us far worse than I'm treating them. I'm treating them very good. I could go higher with the tariffs, but I don't want to hurt them. That's why when you just read it, you come up with the number. It's so incredible that prices are actually going down. Just so you know, when I got in, everyone said, eggs are going through the roof. I was in for about 4 days, and they started screaming at me about eggs.
All right, real quick, I need to get a Flareon full art or Obreon full art, one of those two. Please.
It's Biden's problem. I didn't know about eggs. But eggs went up about 5 times. You did a fantastic job. And we ended up shortly getting, in fact, for Easter, they said, go out and buy plastic eggs. You can't use real eggs. Well, we bought 200,000 eggs for the White House for the Easter egg.
I'm feeling good on this one, guys. Let's see what I get. Oh, come on. Oh, I got something. What we got? 1, 2, 3. One more. Let's see. Come on, be a Flareon. Oh, I got the immersive. Yo, let's go. Oh, I need the music. Let me play it again with the music. Hold on. Let me play it again with the music. Hold on. I just got an immersive on stream. Hold on, I'm gonna play this. Hold on, I gotta play this card real quick. Okay, go. Let's get the music. Let's turn this on real quick. Woo! Oh, I got 3,000 cards too. Hey, I'm officially a whale now. I'm just kidding. I wish. I barely have any money. Let's go. All right, 77. I got 3,000 cards. I gotta show that off to Discord later on. Let's go to this. Let's turn the music on real quick because I gotta hear this immersive. And all right, let's do this. Where's my Eevee at? All right, Eevee. Oh, let me look at this one. I think it was a double star. It's going too fast. There it is. All right, where's my Eevee at? Oh, there it is. All right, here we go. Let's go. Oh, there's Vaporeon. That's my favorite one, is Vaporeon. I wonder if I could get this better like this. Nope. That was dope. That was sick. All right, hell yeah. It was kind of shoddy, but it is what it is at this point. All right. Let's get out of here. That was dope. I'm happy I got that one. Ooh, and I leveled up. Yo, what's going on? Everything's happening right now. 48 to 49. Almost to level 50, guys. Almost to level 50. I'm excited. All right, let me turn this music off. And let's get back to the real life world. All right.
That we have at the White House, and there were eggs. We had the price down, and now the price is lower than it was before. We did a good job with eggs, but we did a good job with groceries. Our prices are down in this country. A big part of it's oil. The oil. You had a couple of places last week. You had $1.99 for oil, for gasoline. Nobody thought they'd see that. I want to get it lower if I can, but we've done a good job. You've done a very good job. Do you want to say what's happening with energy?
Well, absolutely, but I would say on the pricing side, President Trump, the fact that you've endorsed and supported a policy of energy dominance, that sends a signal to the market that we're going to have more supply. You talked during the campaign about inflation being a country buster. You've broken the back of inflation. In 6 months, among all the other things you've accomplished.
We have no inflation.
And we've got, heading into the 4th of July, these were the lowest gas prices at the pump in 4 years. And again, for Americans, this is like hundreds of billions of dollars that stay in their pockets because we lower the price of gas at the pump. And when we lower the price of energy, it lowers the price of food. It lowers the price of the clothes you wear.
It's the biggest thing.
It's the biggest thing.
It's like a big tax cut. When you get energy down, every 50 cents is like a massive tax cut, and we've gotten it down much below that. You know, we had great energy, great low prices, everything else when the election turned over. I'm trying to be nice about it. It turned over, shockingly, but nevertheless it happened.
Shout out Eevee. I just told Discord right now that I just got immersive Eevee on live stream. My second day of live streaming. I already got streamer's luck. I already got the luck of everybody that plays the game publicly. They always get the good shit. I don't know how the game knows, but it knows, and they gave me something dope the first day. Great.
Energy started going up, and it went up.
Perfect.
Really bad, and then he went back to the Trump policy. The problem was they didn't know how to do that, and he lost it. He lost that sucker. That big sucker was out of control, and his energy prices went way up, and that's what caused it. But it was also stupid spending. They spent money like, they used to use the term drunken sailors, but I won't use that term. Although it is very descriptive, I won't use that term. I refuse to use it. But they spent money at levels that nobody had ever seen before. And trillions and trillions of dollars wasted on the Green New Scam, greatest scam in the history of our country, other than maybe Russia, that might have been. But
I think the biggest scam to this day is still the Titanic insurance with the Rothschild financial banking. I think that's still the number one biggest scam ever of USA history.
The scam was the single greatest scam in the history of our country and continues to be, but it's weakened badly. It's hobbling along because people are finally getting it. But they spent trillions of dollars on the Green New Scam, getting nothing.
There was nothing on Wonder Pick. Boo.
Devised by a couple of young people that weren't even good college students, you know? Not even good students. Check out their marks. Yeah?
Can you express something else, Mr. President, on what you said last night?
Not for CNN.
You said you
Not for CNN. Go ahead.
The last jobs report.
He's refusing to answer any questions from CNN. That's he's like, nope. That shit's funny.
Last jobs report, Mr. President, in the last jobs report.
No, it is.
Manufacturing jobs.
It is messed up. Like
7,000
should
jobs.
definitely be answering.
When
this
will the
question,
investments that you've been talking about have?
Even though they're the enemy, that you should be answering those questions because you want to prove them wrong. But whatever.
Well, they're building the plants now. About 7 have started. We're going to have hundreds started within a short period of time. Lee Zeldin, who may be the most important man in this room, I'm sorry, but he's the one that gets the permits, whereas he's the one that has to get the permits for the plants and the factories, and permits that used to take 5 years, he's getting in record-setting times. AI, we're leading China a lot in AI, and if we go with this, you know, I'm allowing the plants to build their own electric. I'm allowing them to become an electric utility, so they can produce their own electricity, because we need double to be successful with AI, which is the biggest thing now. We need double the electricity that we have.
There is no way we're gonna get double electricity. We're already having brownouts for Tesla cars, and we don't even have those mandatory, and they're not gonna be mandatory now. But remember when that was a thing last year, and they couldn't get enough electricity? And I sell solar. All right, I used to sell solar. I still kind of do. I still can help people get it. But I'm just saying that even with all the houses that we've done, it's like we're still getting brownouts, bro. We got to figure out something with the electricity fast. And then what I just heard is that some of the solar panels that are from China, they have a kill switch apparently. I'm not sure if that's a scare tactic to get solar panels away from Americans or if it's really true. I kind of believe it's true because of China being the craziest motherfuckers I know. But yeah, it's crazy.
Hard to believe. We need even more than that. And they're building plants with their own electricity substations. They don't have to use the grid. And anything they build extra, they're putting into the grid. So we're supplying the grid with brand new electric sources. And you know, it's funny, when they came to see me, they never even asked for that. I told them about it. The reason they didn't, they thought that was an impossibility. You're not allowed to build your own electric. These are massive investments that are being made in building electricity for their plants. And they're going to have, I think, Doug, a lot of electricity left over. And that electricity is going to be passed into the grid and give us no more, you know, like you look at California, they have blackouts and brownouts every week. They're totally out of control. They have a really incompetent governor. Where's Chris? Is he here? Do you want to speak to the subject?
Yeah, I think a huge thing in the One Big Beautiful Bill, Mr. President, because of your leadership, is the ending of these subsidies, as you call them, the Green New Scam. That saves our country $500 billion over the next 10 years. But American taxpayers were paying twice. They're paying that money, $500 billion in the subsidies, and they were paying more expensive electricity price. If you subsidize something, you should at least lower the cost of it. But in this case, we were subsidizing something and paying more for it. So the One Big Beautiful Bill had two huge things: ending wasteful spending. Wind, solar, and batteries combined are 3% of U.S. total primary energy. 3%.
What the fuck? I mean, yeah, we don't have that much of it because it's usually it starts on the coast, right? Like New York and California, and then it goes inland. But damn, only 3% of our power comes from those? Like, wow. I thought it was more than that. But I guess this is the solar game still up. But they took out the credits for it, apparently. I got to ask my my solar guy about that, the dealer. I got to ask him about those solar credits.
For $1 trillion, another $500 billion coming. That's just not a good investment, hurting our businesses, hurting our consumers. And the One Big Beautiful Bill also unshackled oil, gas, and coal development in the United States, onshore and offshore. Secretary Burgum has been working tirelessly on how, by getting the government out of the way, private businesses will develop more resources in the United States, lowering costs for American consumers and making much better leverage for the United States to help our allies abroad and reduce the power of our adversaries abroad. So just a huge win on the energy front all around, and I thank you for your leadership.
We're setting records now on energy, and there'll be nothing compared to what they'll be in about a year from now, but we're setting records. And wind is a very expensive form of energy. It's very bad for your beautiful surroundings, the plains and the valleys, and the birds are dying all over the place. You know, the whole thing is a disaster. They're almost exclusively made in China. Not that I have anything against China, because I don't have a great relationship with President Xi, but I asked him, how many wind farms do you have? He makes them, but they don't have a lot of wind farms, I'll tell you, very, very few. And wind is tremendously expensive and is very ugly. And if you own a house that's inside of a windmill, your house is worth less than half. And you hear noises. And interestingly, in New England, you probably read, where for 50 years they had 2 whales washed up. 50 years. And last summer, they had 14 washed up. Now, I'm not saying that's the wind farm that was built, but maybe it is, right? Probably is. It's tremendously expensive, and it can only be done with subsidy. You know, I know a man that's in that business, and one of the biggest in the world actually runs a company that builds these stupid windmills. And he said, I hate the business because it's the only energy where you need subsidy. He said, energy shouldn't need subsidy. You should make money with energy. So wind. The other one is the solar, those big solar fields. They're taking our farmland. Our farmers are like mortified by it. They hate it. It's very, very inefficient and very ugly too. You know, probably better than a windmill, but you go around and you see all these things that are 3 miles long by 3 miles wide, and you say, what the hell is that? And it's a lot of plastic from...
Yeah, the solar farms, unfortunately, they're very fragile pieces of equipment. Like, did you hear about the hailstorm that went through and destroyed like $1 million one? Dude, whoever got that solar check was making money, but it got completely destroyed by a snowstorm, and now it's just in the middle of the field, useless. The best way to do solar, in my opinion, I've sold it, is on houses. So it's not all congested in one area where it could get hit by a snowstorm and get destroyed. You got different houses. If one gets hit with whatever, it's fine. So it's not completely taken out. Now, they also kill, like, I think the heat emits from them is also pretty bad. So that's why you got to do it on top of the house. And I forgot what else. But anyways, the best way to use solar is to do it on the houses and the businesses of buildings that you're building on. So it helps push the electricity. And then have I know the wind turbines are not the greatest. Probably, I'm not sure how we're going to get more energy. I don't want to go nuclear because, once the Cinnaball or once one of them goes, this blows up, and that's bad for everybody.
Black plastic from China. Now, we want to be smart. We're going with, look, China right now is building 58 coal-fired plants, 58 big ones. They have 62 on the books to build. We've reintroduced clean, beautiful coal, because you can do a lot with coal now. Clean, beautiful coal, and natural gas, and all of the other things that we have. But we don't want wind, and we don't want solar, because they're a blight on our country. They hurt our country very badly, and smart countries don't use it. Solar sounds good, I will say, and I like, on occasion, you'll see a roof which is made as solar brick, but it's a smaller use.
Yeah, see, he said the same thing. It's good on smaller units of houses and stuff like that. I agree with him. It's not good for big, huge projects because they're unfortunately they're fragile enough that they go out if they get hit with something. They're not the most strongest thing, you know. And on top of roofs is perfect, and they're not congested altogether. Like I said, if one of the houses goes out because they got hit by something, easiest fix. You go on top of that house, get a couple more panels, and hopefully that's the only house that gets hit. But you're talking about a whole field. That's too much.
We need the kind of thing that's going to fire up our plants, and it's not going to be wind. You know, that's very intermittent, as you probably know. But they've spent a fortune. They've spent trillions of dollars on this stuff. And I'll just give you one other story. A friend of mine is a very successful guy. He went back to see his mother in Minnesota. He hadn't seen her in a long time. And he wasn't back for 10 years, which isn't a nice story. I mean, you don't see your mother for 10 years. She's got some difficulties, which I know the guy, he does have some difficulties.
Hey, chat, I need to get some water real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I could get something on here for us while we're waiting. Get a new window. I'm going to play some YouTube. Oh, hold on. Nope, I don't want that. Hold on. Go to my channel. See, I'm going live. I'm live right there. But let's go to one of these songs. I'm gonna get water real quick.
How you really feel watching me on my grind, baby? How you really drill hazy with the pop light?
Be right back. I'm gonna get some water.
How you really feel? Waste away as time flies. How you really drill? Tell me how I don't shine. Tell me how I don't show. Posting as I roll slow. Catch me as I whipping in the foreign as I smoke draw. Yeah, you people don't know. Pleasure pour on my soul. Show to keep me breathing, so I flex it on my old hoes, yeah. Ring, ring, I call up, glad to see my name. Pick up, you wake up to hang out with fame. First to the Molly, then next is the cane. Down with the pregame, then switch up the Zanes, yeah. Money on eyes, word up nice, shining so nice, best in my life, yeah. Money on eyes, word up nice, shining so nice, best in my life, yeah. How you really feel watching me on my grind, baby? How you really drill hazy with the pop light? Waste away as time flies. How you really try? Tell me how I don't shine.
Let's get back to it. How to get some water, y'all.
Very successful, but probably not the nicest person. It was actually longer than 10 years, but he went back and he told me he wanted to go and look at the valley. There's a valley in Minnesota that he thought was so beautiful. and I hadn't seen it in a long time. He was driving along the road. He said, "Oh my," I'll use the word gosh. "Oh my gosh," he said. "Oh, oh," he said. "It looked like a junkyard. You had 159 windmills. They were all over the place. Some were old, some were newer, different companies, different shapes, different sizes, different colors. Many of them were terminated. Terminated meaning closed. You can't take them down because the environmentalists don't let you bury the blades because they're made out of a fiber they say is bad for."
How did I lose that battle on auto, bro? What did this fucking deck do? Bro. I didn't even watch the battle, but I know it was some dumb, stupid shit that the fucking computer did for me.
Earth. So they want you to put them up, but they don't let you take them down. But many of them were turned off. He said it looked like a junkyard. Go to Palm Springs, California, and take a look at that pile of junk. And you go into a wealthy neighborhood. Before you get there, you have to ride through hundreds of windmills that are, most of them are turned off. They're rotting, they're rusting, they're 30 years old, 20 years old, and they have a
Hey, shout out to my grandpa who was working those, all right?
short life. You know, those windmills have a very short life, especially the ones that are in the nice salty Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean where the salt just gets under that steel and decimates it. No, it's a horrible, horrible thing for our country. And I speak out. It would be nice to say wind, because it sounds so good, doesn't it, Doug? Wind, wind. But it's not. It's these ugly machines, and they're all made. You got to see. Some are a little taller, a little shorter. They're made by different companies. They have different stocks. They have different blades. They have different everything. It is so horrible. And if you look at smart countries, they don't use it. Smart countries don't use it. And we're now a smart country. We're not we're a brilliant country. We're not smart. We're brilliant now. We're going to be a brilliant country. We have to be, because we have to catch up for some really stupid people that did a bad job. Yes, Brian?
Yes, Mr. President, I've got a quick comment and feedback as a native Texan, someone that I grew up bringing my kids to a camp very near the affected camp now. Thank you on behalf of Texas.
Damn, back to the flood? Fuck, my heart breaks again.
I've gotten hundreds of messages that want to thank. Listen, if you're in the cabinet room, you can tell the president and his team, on behalf of Texans, thank you so much for the quick response and the loving, the hugs. I saw that you gave. Two quick questions.
I saw a Palestinian senator. His name is Schumer. He's a great Palestinian. No, he's a Palestinian. He's become a Palestinian. He's abandoned the Jews. But I saw him say, it's Trump's fault. Yeah.
Chuck Schumer is now a Palestinian? What is going on? Why are you saying this? Yo.
That's right. It's Trump's fault. He was actually, do you ever see John Lovitz, The Liar? Where he goes, yeah, I went to Harvard. That's right. This was Schumer. He goes, yeah, it's Trump's fault. That's right, it's Trump. I actually saw that stupid guy try and blame it on me. And I said, man, that's a tough one to take. But his career is limited because I hear AOC is going to beat him, and she's no bargain either, by the way. Go ahead.
Well, I would just say that's an example of an America First team effort.
Hey, AOC is crazy, but she got that crazy Latina toxicity. She's hot, though. I'm not going to lie.
Bring to get this country back. So that's what America First looks like for the viewers watching us at home. My two questions. Looks like we have a rogue judge, an Obama-backed rogue judge that is attempting to block the funding to Planned Parenthood, which the big, beautiful bill cuts off the funding to Planned Parenthood. Any plans to challenge that?
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, we're on it. We're on it. And I texted, I believe, I talked to yesterday Secretary Lutnick and Secretary Besson. I reached out to you to let you know that we were on it in the big, beautiful bill.
Wonderful. And then
I let her handle that question. You notice? I said, go ahead, handle that question.
I'll toss it to her. Then my second question for Secretary Rollins. You did an amazing press conference today in front of the Department of Agriculture. You talked about the Farm Act and the need to get China out of our country, owning farmland. For the viewers at home that might have missed that, can you recap what that means to national security to make sure we can grow our own food?
Well, thank you, Brian. Sir, if you don't mind.
Yeah, there's a map on Google where it shows China owning our land. It's crazy. Like, they purchased our land, they own it, and they're killing the farmers, or not the farmers, but they're killing the farmland in it. So it's going to them instead. It's the craziest thing. Like, I didn't even know that was even possible. I didn't know you could purchase land like that from another country. Hopefully we have some other stuff. I know we took over a lot of stuff, so, but we took it over with missiles now by buying it out.
Yes, this morning Secretary Hegseth, Secretary Noem, and Attorney General Bondi and I had a press conference at the USDA. I just happened to have a chart in case it came up, but obviously the Chinese owning of farmland in our country is a massive national security issue. And for the media, you can see the yellow is where all of the farms have been purchased over the last number of years, and the red is around all of the military bases where that farm.
That's what I was talking about. They actually show the Google map of what they own.
Land has been purchased. So this is a massive national security issue. The press conference this morning included 3 of our greatest governors as well, Sarah Sanders from Arkansas, Jim Pillen from Nebraska, and Bill Lee from Tennessee. The states have begun taking a leadership role to ban the purchasing of China farmland. Obviously, Congress needs to step up and catch up, and we're going to be working alongside of them as well.
You know Congress is not going to agree on that. That's too much money. Who's getting their pockets filled while getting the land taken away from us? They're not going to let that slide.
Some of our members, great members of Congress there, but it is time. And I think that this morning was symbolic of many things. The first of this administration working every day to effectuate President Trump's leadership and unequivocal support of America First. But second, just how close we are as a cabinet. I don't know in any other administration that you'd have 4 cabinet members at the USDA on a Tuesday morning when it's about 110 degrees outside with the sun beating down on us talking about, sir, your vision. So I think it was a great day. It was just the start. There's an executive order coming and some other things coming behind that. But protecting America's farms isn't just about protecting our farmers. It's also about national security. So that's what we discussed this morning.
I do want to say that I think we have had a really good relationship with China lately, and we're getting along with them very well. They've been very fair on our trade deal, honestly. And I hope we're going to have a great relationship. It's a big, strong, powerful country. We're more powerful than they are. We have much better military equipment than they do. But we are getting along with them very well. I'm getting along with President Xi very well. We speak often. And with all of that being said, and I understand what you're saying, but I think we're getting along with China very well.
Mr. President, you will send more weapons to Ukraine, as you said last night. Last week, the Pentagon paused some shipments of weapons to Ukraine. Did you approve of that pause?
We want to put defensive weapons because Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
I think that's a question for the
Go ahead.
Mr. President, on immigration, the Secretary, the Agriculture Secretary, did say this morning that undocumented workers would not be covered by any amnesty of who are working on.
Okay, so we're getting to the immigration right now. Okay, got it.
You had said maybe that the ISA folks won't go after those folks on farms. So which is it?
There's no amnesty. What we're doing is we're getting rid of criminals, but we are doing a work program. Do you want to explain that, please?
Yeah, this morning we talked about, of course, this was a top of mind question. This morning we talked about protecting the farmers and the farmland, but obviously this president's vision of no amnesty, mass.
So he said he's going to protect the farmers and also the hotel industry workers, the immigrants of in the hotel industry. He said 2 of them, but the farm was definitely one of them.
Continues, but in a strategic way, and then ensuring that our farmers have the labor that they need. Secretary Chavez-DeRimmer has been a leader on this. Obviously, this comes out.
That's a win, right? I mean, get the farmers working, the immigrants working, helping them out. I mean, yeah, cheaper labor, but at the same time, ain't no American gonna take that job, I think, unless you're gonna pay them top dollar for vegetables. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Labor Department, but moving toward automation, ensuring that our farmers have that workforce, and moving toward an American workforce. So all of the
We're
above.
going to give the farmers the people they need, but we're not talking amnesty. Lori, do you want to say something about that?
Thank you, Mr. President. On this, thank you, Secretary Rollins, how important this is never to displace the American worker.
Ooh, I see a Dragonite. Oh, I'm kind of tempted to pull, bro. Ooh, it's 3. I only got 2. When I got 1. You know what? I'm gonna pull. Let's see what I get. 20. Let's go. 20. Come on, Dragonite. Give me Dragonite. Come on. Fingers crossed. All right, it's either gonna be top left or right. Let's go. Which one's gonna be? 1, 2. Let's do this one. Oh, I got it. Yeah, let's go. I got Dragonite. Yes. Got it on stream, baby. My first Dragonite. Let's go. We go for the win. Yeah, put it in my decks. Let's go. That was a win. Hell yeah. Thank you, Sikaba. Let's go. I'm gonna let Discord know.
What the Department of Labor is doing is focusing on what the law entails now, being more modernized, more streamlining to work through the H programs. We're going to have a concierge approach to that, where we have developed a new office to answer the need of our farmers and ranchers and producers, and not to displace the American worker, and follow within the law now. And that does not include an amnesty program at all. And we've seen that working, and we'll continue to have that roll out. On the other topics that we've somewhat talked about, the jobs numbers, Mr. President, 4 months in a row, we've seen those jobs numbers increase. That's an exciting time for our manufacturers. That was asked earlier. We know it's going to take some time, but through that deregulation process that Lee and I are working on as well, the Department of Labor has rolled out 63 new deregulations that we're going to be moving through. In the first Trump administration, it was successful with over 30. We've just rolled out 63 new ones in order to double down on those manufacturing companies, to let them know that we have signaled through this process that we will assist them in getting the workforce that they need. It's an exciting time. That one big beautiful bill, that was the signal to my former colleagues in Congress to get this done. It's been an important time. I spent time on the ground visiting 7 states in 9 days prior to that bill being passed, because it was the most pro-worker piece of legislation that we will ever see really in this country right now. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. That matters to the American worker, because we don't want to take their money and give it back. We want them to keep more of their hard-earned dollars in their pockets currently, and that's what they're excited about. And as I move forward with this tariff talks, I heard a company, orthopedic company in Indiana, say to me, for the first time since you have taken office, Mr. President, their increase in their bottom line by 8% since these tariff talks have happened. Not one company has said the president is not doing a good job. These tariff talks are working. They're feeling it on the ground. The media has told a false story, because what's happening on the ground is positive, and that's what we're seeing in these jobs numbers. So I really, through the Department of Labor, to come in behind all the secretaries and build this workforce is going to be key.
I was telling Discord, that they're like, you stream now? I'm like, yeah, I just started streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. I'm pretty much doing like social commentary on political and world news while playing Pokemon on the side. Pokemon Pocket on the side.
American workers. So thank you for what everybody did this last week. The One Big Beautiful Bill is a doubling down of this, and we're going to see these workers start to grow. And that apprenticeship program is going to be working.
That's
we'll
right.
have that million apprentices across the country.
We, as you know, we're building plants all over the country now, which you weren't building any plants 4 years ago. You weren't building anything. But those plants, when they open up, it's going to be, you'll see numbers like you haven't seen ever. I don't think in history you'll never see numbers like what we're going to see in the very near future. Many of them are building the plants. Some are just starting right now. You know, it's a brand new administration. But
bro, I didn't even notice there was an EVX next to it too. I was just so locked in on the Dragonite, I didn't even see the EVX. Well, I'm glad I got the Dragon Knight because I already got this guy. So.
And they wouldn't be here except for two things: November 5th, the election, and the tariffs. And frankly, I guess the election was more important because of the tariffs. I mean, another person wouldn't have done this. But they're coming in because of the tariffs. They have to, they're not going to pay 25, 30, 40, 50%, 70, and 100%. And we'll be announcing something very soon on pharmaceuticals. We're going to give people about a year and a half to come in, and after that, they're going to be tariffed. If they have to bring the pharmaceuticals into the country, the drugs and other things into the country, they're going to be tariffed at a very, very high rate, like 200%. We'll give them a certain period of time to get their act together. But they were all here, now they all left. They went to other places because we allowed, people that sat in this room allowed it to happen. And I don't allow it to happen. The people in this room don't allow it to happen. So we're going to be announcing pharmaceuticals, chips, and various couple of other things, you know, big ones. We did steel, as you know, they're 50%. We did aluminum, 50%. Lumber just came out.
Why don't you announce copper?
And we did cars. And now, today we're doing copper.
Copper, what would that tariff be on? The section tariff?
I believe the tariff on copper, we're going to make it 50%.
50%.
Any breakthroughs on
Tim,
copper?
Lenny didn't question it.
Any
I sort of thought, what would that be? Just a quick one. I didn't have much time, but he agreed with me. That's why he's Howard.
Any breakthroughs on Gaza with the Prime Minister, and there's reports that you're meeting with Netanyahu again tonight. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he's going to come over again tonight. We're talking about.
He's gonna demand more money and more bombs, baby, and he's gonna get those bunker buster bombs for his own crew. He's gonna take that back to Israel.
Mostly Gaza right now. It's he's been very unfairly treated. I think what they've done to him in Israel is very unfair, having to do with this trial. I think, you know, he's a wartime prime minister, had an unbelievable outcome, and I think he's been treated very unfairly. But he's coming over later. We're going to be talking about, I would say, almost exclusively Gaza. We got to get that solved. Gaza is a tragic. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
Man, people are shooting on both sides on Gaza. The IDF and Hamas shooting at each other while trying to give aid, so people are getting shot at in between. It's just like a war zone out there. And then you got American mercenaries out there shooting too. It's like, bro, everybody's out there. Everybody's out there getting shot at.
And he wants to get it solved, and I want to get it solved. And I think the other side wants to get it solved. Steve, could you talk on that, please?
We're in proximity talks now. And we had 4 issues, and now we're down to 1 after 2 days of proximity talks. So we are hopeful that by the end of this week, we will have an agreement that will bring us into a 60-day ceasefire. 10 live hostages will be released. 9 deceased will be released. We're meeting at the president's direction with all the hostage families to let them know. And we think that this will lead to a lasting peace in Gaza.
And you're doing a good job. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. A lot of hate, you know. It's called long-term hate. But we think we're going to have it solved pretty soon, hopefully with a real solution, a solution that's going to be holding up.
And can I follow up? This is, I think, the first cabinet meeting since Elon Musk has not been a special government employee, not here anymore. He's now saying he's going to create a third political party. Are you worried about the impact that that could have?
No, I think it'll help us. It'll probably help. Third parties have always been good for me. I don't know about Republicans, but for me.
Are you second guessing any of the cuts that Doge made since you described him as off the rails?
Look, we cut hundreds of billions of dollars with Doge. We could have done it differently. I would have done it differently a little bit, maybe, but it was something that we saved a lot of money. You can always second guess. I guess some of the people in this room maybe would have done it slightly differently, and some would have done it exactly the way it was done. But it was dramatic, and it was important, and we found a lot of things like billions of dollars given to people for environmental protection, where they had $100 in the account, like in Atlanta, Stacy. And then you had another one with 20 billion here, and 20 billion here, and 2 billion here, and 15 billion. And Lee, you might want to mention just a couple of those things.
Oh no, they got Oricorio for sure. I don't even want to play this. Yeah, I don't want to play this. I'm gonna die right
we really got because of Doge.
At the Trump EPA, the one big beautiful bill was filled with many big beautiful wins for the taxpayer. It delivered a sledgehammer to the Green New scam. Billions of dollars rescinded. It's a big deal for the American taxpayer who sees.
I conceded because they were for one, they were lightning, and I had a fighting, and they pushed in the lightning with my water, the one water card I had.
Money go through pass-throughs that are filled with self-dealing and conflicts of interest. They see unqualified recipients. They see reduced agency oversight, and they want accountability with their tax dollars, and they got it. In the example of the Stacey Abrams connected NGO, they received $100 in 2023. They got $2 billion in 2024. They had to complete training on how to develop a budget that was put into their grant agreement. They, out of nowhere, started paying a CEO $800,000, a COO $450,000, 22 people making over 150 grand. Out of nowhere, this is tax dollars. So money go through pass-throughs, through other pass-throughs, through other pass-throughs, and we lose oversight over it. And you see that it's going to former Biden officials, it's going to former Obama officials, it's going to Democratic donors. And we're not here saying we want to take money from a left-wing NGO and give it to a right-wing NGO. We want to give it back to the taxpayer. This is about us being good stewards of American tax dollars without any apology or regret. That's why President Trump was elected last November. Because there are a whole lot of people who maybe they hadn't voted Republican in a long time. Maybe they didn't even vote for President Trump the first time around in 2016, but they're regretting that vote from 2016 and they were making it right in 2024. So the one big beautiful bill gave us the tools to rescind billions of dollars more. We're seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars that'll get wasted per electric vehicle as an example of this money that was going through it. They gave $50 million to a group called Climate Justice Alliance. They say that climate justice runs through a free Palestine.
Damn.
The Biden EPA gave $50 million to a group that says that climate justice runs through a free Palestine. We say that if you're going to spend $1 in the name of remediating an environmental issue, then spend the dollar on remediating
That was a good move. That was a good move. He fucking got my back line, bro.
an environmental issue. We say that we can protect the environment and grow the economy. We want to help grow more baseload power in this country. So why is it that it took this long for this team to get assembled, to be able to fix the mess that we inherited? But gosh, we love showing up at our jobs every single day, first thing in the morning, because all day long we get things done for the American taxpayer. And Congress did its part last week by passing one big beautiful bill to deliver this accountability and to cut off the Green New scam. So maybe it's a bad day for Stacey Abrams. Maybe it's a bad day for all those well-connected Democrats getting paid off. But you know what? God bless America. Because at the end of the day, President Trump is here, J.D. Vance is here, and the greatest cabinet ever assembled to deliver that much-needed and highly demanded accountability.
Mr. President,
That was a very good and that's from the heart. That's from the heart.
On Ukraine, the Ukrainians have asked the International Court to
Oh no, you have it already? Oh.
in the fight. Germany should have Germany and the Netherlands
Don't tell me he has B-drill already, bro.
have intelligence saying that. What does U.S. intelligence believe, and what do you believe about the use of chemical weapons? And would you agree that that's a case report?
Want to ask John maybe to discuss it if you'd like, John?
Well, Mr. President, obviously chemical weapons, if it's documented and its use, it's illegal. It's against all international laws of armed conflict and treaties. And obviously I can't share in this room with this audience the intelligence that I can share with you privately, but obviously you're not going to stand or allow for any violations of international law by anyone.
That's right. Thank you. Could I ask Sean to Department of Transportation, Sean Duffy, former great congressman, very popular.
Yes.
Decided to go out and make a
Yes, I won. That was a hard one. That was a hard match.
couple of bucks. He made a lot. And he got bored with that though. He likes serving people better, the people. And could I ask you to just discuss a very important subject to me, and that's the modernization of our equipment at airports so that planes aren't crashing into each other and bad things don't happen. It should have been done many years ago. We were going to do it, and then the election precluded that, unfortunately, but we're doing it now. Could you tell them where we are?
They're like, please save me from the DEI firings that we did. That I got fired, everybody, and they were understaffed. I mean, is that what they're saying? Yeah. Let's see what this technology is. Come on. Give me something good. Give me something good, Cabinet.
I'm going to start with Newark. You guys all covered what happened in Newark. We had outages for a couple of 30-second outages a couple months ago. We have, in 2 months, Mr. President, it's historic speed, laid new fiber lines for communication and tested those in the next month. So those new lines for the Philly TRACON that controls the Newark airspace, they're up and running, lightning fast speed.
We're listening in here to Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy.
Bro, shut your ass up. I'm trying to hear the guy talk about the technology we got for the new airplanes.
The improvements that his agency is going to be making to make sure that the airs are safe right here. We do want to actually pivot to another camera shot in this very cabinet meeting. It toggles between the speakers as well as the entire cabinet. It is on a delay, so you might hear some of the words repeated, but we did want to bring that to you as it does have several camera angles.
In the big beautiful bill, we got $12.5 billion. This is a historic investment in air traffic control. And so what the money is going to allow us to do is move from copper to fiber all over the country. So
I don't like this mid-editing shit, especially live. Just keep it on one. It's fine. We don't have to see everybody. Just keep the conversation flowing.
Copper lines. We think we can do that in the...
It makes me think you guys edited it out because something was said wrong. And now you're trying to save yourself. That's what I'm thinking now. But
after 2 years, we have radar that dates back to the 1950s. Some of it from the 60s and 70s. We get brand new radar across the country as well. We have some infrastructure money to build TRACONs and centers, the en route centers that control the traffic across the country. So this is a massive new start to rebuild air traffic control. And again, this is dilapidated. Americans think that their government takes care of them and makes the investments that are necessary to make the country work. And for 30, 40 years, the investments were made. And so under your leadership and direction, we are making those investments. And per your direction, right now we are interviewing what we could call a general contractor or an integrator. One company to manage. It's a massive project. The FAA is not qualified to manage this kind of a project. So we are now going through the process of finding who that one company will be to manage the whole project. We'll interview those companies together and make that selection. So we'll write one big beautiful check to one beautiful company that'll be responsible for this whole build. But if I just...
Yo, you know Trump liked that one. One big beautiful check, one big beautiful company. He's like, make it run, keep going with it, baby. Keep running with it. All right, let's see what I get.
One last point. This is not enough money. We're going to need more. But this is a massive new start. The biggest investment. We'll need some more money on top of it, but a great start from the big, beautiful...
It's a starter. It was very important to us. And just to cover that, there have been accidents, and my pilots, I would often hear them say, oh, good, and they would use a different system, a different country to land in New York. They'd use the radar and other things from a different country. I said, what's that? He says, oh, our system is so bad. And I knew that would start. And Boudette Edge came in, and what they did was so crazy because they hooked it copper into fiber, into steel, they had all different systems. They had hundreds and hundreds of contractors, different contractors for different airports. They spent billions of dollars, and they made the system worse because you can't hook copper into fiber. It doesn't work that way. You just can't do it.
They wasted a lot of money doing what? They fucked it up so bad.
It's not doable, but they tried to do it. Didn't work out too well. And in the end, it was just a complete disaster. We want to have one great company. Now, Raytheon's going to bid, IBM's going to bid. We have 5 or 6 bidders that really are good and do this stuff. And we want one, I tell, because I know about overruns, I look at the railroad out in California, headed up by one of the worst governors in our country, who I used to get along with actually, but he's just, you know, when you lose 25,000 houses and you would have had your city.
Talking about Gavin Newsom? Talking about my boy Gavin? I'm just kidding. Your boy Gavin?
Burned down. If we didn't step in, Los Angeles would have been burned to the ground. But
okay, for sure he's talking about Gavin. My bad.
That, and I said,
he's really bad at budgeting. Don't give him more money, bro.
I really know how to build, and you got to have one guy, one contractor, one great one, whether it's IBM or Raytheon is good, but you have 4 or 5 that are really, really great, and they're all bidding against each other. But you don't want to have one doing the wire and one doing the digging and one doing the demolition and then they're all saying they all blame each other because.
Yeah, because when you're doing contracts like that, you're getting too many people, too many fingers to point. I get that. You just want one company to knock it all out so you know who to blame. There's nobody else but that one company, and you can actually sue them.
Saying they were late and therefore you have to pay me millions of dollars more money. I know the system so well, and we're going to have a great company do the whole thing. We're going to get a fantastic price. Maybe we'll get them, they're very big and very strong, and maybe we'll get them to make a contribution toward getting it done at the right price. But we're going to have a great system. When we finish, we will have the best system on earth, done by one of the 2 or 3 best companies. There are only a few companies can do this. This is not. But if you would have seen what this other group did, they were going.
I low-key forgot how this deck works. Let me check it out, but I haven't used this deck forever. Okay, it looks like I just do Celestelia and okay. All right, let's try it out.
Easy. They had, I heard 3,000 contractors, and then when it all came together, guess what? It didn't work. It's a disaster. So we're going to have in a pretty short period of time, so it'll take us about 2 years to build it, and we'll have a contract given out probably over the next couple of months. We have some great bidders, some great companies that want to do the job. You're going to have.
I'm still recovering from sickness, so I'm going to be coughing here and there, guys.
Air traffic control.
Yes, can I just make one last point on this? So the last administration signed a contract with an American company to fix the copper to fiber, and that contract was a 15-year contract. The system is failing today, but that's how idiotic and incompetent the last administration was. And under your leadership, we're saying, listen, we don't have time. We don't have 15 years. We don't have 5 years. We have to do it right now. And so the president always talks about on time and on budget. We have embraced that. We are going to be on time and on budget. And by the way, you mentioned a train out in California. Stay tuned for probably give us 5 days and you'll have an answer on what's going to happen with the $4 billion that we potentially have invested on a train that's going to go nowhere. It's going to be $120 billion.
How long has that project been up, dude? The train? Fucking A.
They'll never connect San Francisco to LA. Again, the last administration wasted so.
We don't have a train that goes to LA to San Francisco? That's crazy. We got one to San Diego. That's great. I love San Diego.
Money on projects that never work. If you're going to have high-speed rail, you're going to invest billions. We should actually have high-speed rail in America, not boondoggles that fund political friends and allies. And
they had from San Francisco, inside of San Francisco, to inside of Los Angeles. Should have never been built because airplanes do it better. And you could drive it. You could drive it. No problem with driving it. The roads aren't even crowded. So they were going to do this. Somebody's idea. Somebody got paid off a lot of money, and they started it. It was going to cost a very small amount of money, and it ended up costing literally hundreds of times what the original. And now what they did is they said, well, going into the city is too big a deal, so we'll leave it 25 miles short of the city. So now they're leaving it. They're not going to finish it, really. It's not the same project. So now they're leaving it outside of San Francisco and outside, short of each. They just want to get it done, and it's. I've never seen cost overruns. You know, if you have a cost overrun of 10%, you should be ashamed of yourself. 20%, you should not do any more jobs. This is a cost overrun of 2,000%, something like that. It's unlimited, and it's not finished. And maybe it will never get finished And I told Sean, look at it from every standard, but we don't want to, you know, we have federal money going into that, and it's like throwing it out the window. So whatever you can do to stop it.
$15 billion and not one track has been laid. 15 billion, 16 years into the project, not one track.
Mr. President,
16 years, not one track is insane, bro. 16 years on a project and not one track laid down. Yo, where's that money going, brother?
On New York, you're the most prominent Republican in the country from the city. What do you want to...
Anywhere else?
Well,
I don't want to be a wise guy. Perhaps I can. Maybe Marco.
But how do you want Republican voters in the city to vote in the upcoming mayoral election? Should they vote for Eric Adams? Should they vote for Sliwa? Should they pick someone else?
Look, number one, you have a communist running, and you shouldn't vote for him. He's a disaster. He's leading. He's got the Democrat nomination because that shows you where the Democrats have gone. He actually wants to take over the grocery stores of John Catsimatidis, who's a great guy, a rich guy, grocer, does a good job, wants to take over. He actually called me the other day. He's concerned his stores are going to be taken from him, and they won't be run like John runs them. Believe me, he runs a good operation. But he actually said he wants to run his own grocery stores. No, this is a man who's not very capable, in my opinion, other than he's got a good line of bullshit, and he's convinced them to go with him. Now, as you know, Cuomo does have capability as running, but he got knocked out, and now they're running as, you have Eric Adams, the current mayor, you have Cuomo, and you have Curtis Sliwa. And Curtis runs every 4 years. He seems to be a fixture on the running scale. But you know, it's I'm not getting involved. But I can tell you this: I used to say we will not ever be a socialist country, right? Well, I'll say it again: we're not going to have. If a communist gets elected to run New York, it can never be the same. But we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. We could run D.C. I mean, we're looking at D.C. We don't want crime in D.C. We want the city to run well. Susie Wiles is working very closely with the mayor, and they're doing all right. I mean, in the sense that we would run it so good, it would be run so proper. We'd get the best person to run it, and the crime would be down to a minimal, would be much less. And you know, we're thinking about doing it. To be honest with you, we want a capital that's run flawlessly, and it wouldn't be hard for us to do it. And we've had a good relationship with the mayor, and we're testing it to see if it works. But New York City will run properly. We're going to bring New York back. I love New York. You know, I loved New York for a long time. Then we had a bunch of crooked people in there. You have an attorney general who's a total stone cold crook, New York State, Letitia James, a total crook. All they do is want to go after political opponents. They do what's ever expeditious for them. She's the one that took out Cuomo because she wanted to run for governor, and then she ended up getting 1% of the vote. She polled at 1%. She dropped out, went back to attorney general. You have a lot of crooked things going on in New York. We're going to straighten out New York. Maybe we're going to have to straighten it out from Washington. But when I see a communist who has actually gotten a Democrat, pretty much gotten a Democrat nomination, they also went to that new form of voting, which is a beauty. You go in there in third place, you come out in first. That's that form of voting that they have gone to. You know what I'm talking about. It's not.
That was a close game.
Good. We're going to do something for New York. I can't tell you what yet, but we're going to make New York great again also. We're going to make it great again with the country. What we've done in this country in the last 6 months, nobody has ever seen it. And I told the story, the King of Saudi Arabia is over there. They gave us $5.1 trillion between Saudi Arabia and UAE, Qatar. 3 stops, $5.1 trillion coming into our country as an.
And still, we're still in debt, baby. What's our debt? Let's see. Let's go to new window. Google. U.S. debt. Debt. 5 trillion. How much is debt in U.S.? Over 36 trillion, 5 trillion, 31 trillion. Fuck, that took off what? 15%? Hey, you know what? That's a good down deposit. Let's go.
The biggest investment ever made. And it's all going to good stuff. I mean, all real big, good stuff. Energy projects, big, big things.
Shout out to Saudi Arabia because they be throwing the dopest fights I've ever seen on boxing and UFC, bro. Thank you. Thank you, Saudi Arabia.
But they all three told me essentially the same thing. We thought your country was dead. And now you've got the hottest country in the world. We're right now riding the hottest country. We all, and you can all be proud of it. We're in the hottest country. This is the hottest country in the world. There's nobody close. Made hotter by some great pilots and great machines that nobody else has. Those great, big, beautiful machines, they rode those machines right into the toughest territory, and nobody knew what.
Bro, hold on, stream. Hold on. Bro, I just got Eevee Immersive EX and Dragon Knight EX while I'm streaming live. Bro, this is fucking funny because I swear streamers get the best luck. And my second day of streaming, I already got the best, one of the best 2 cards in the game. The Immersive Eevee, which everybody wants because it's Eevee and it's immersive. So I'm super lucky on that one. EX and Dragon Knight EX while I'm streaming live. Bro, this is fucking funny because I swear streamers get the best luck. And my second day of streaming, I already got the best, one of the best 2 cards in the game. The Immersive Eevee, which everybody wants because it's Eevee and it's immersive. So I'm super lucky on that one. All right. Let's go back to what we're doing. Ooh, I already forgot what I'm doing over here. All right, let's do this.
What happened?
I always forget that I'm fucking playing online.
And then they hit their targets perfectly, and it was complete and total obliteration. And that's why that war ended, Steve. They told me that's why the war ended. The war ended when they saw that, it was over. And we're very proud of it. But we have the hottest country in the world right now from a country that was close to dead. And if I didn't win, if you would have had the other person win, we all know who she is, whether it was she or Biden. They're the same. He may have been more competent than her, and that's hard to believe, right? But if you had that ideology in, I don't believe you would have had a country anymore. I think you would have had a country that was broken up. But we had a dead country, now we have the hottest country in the world, and everybody knows it, and everybody said it. Mr. Vice President, do you have anything to say?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say that I'm very proud of the whole team. I think everybody has worked together. You see Pete and Marco and Steve working on some of the diplomacy, Christy and Pam working on the border. We just have a real...
Hey, JD's in the house? What? He's been quiet lately, bro. The last thing I heard him do was like he went to the NATO thing and tell him, fuck y'all with the censorship. We want freedom of speech.
Really solid team, and we've done a lot of good work. And in particular, I want to congratulate the White House staff, led by the president, on getting the One Big Beautiful Bill passed. Yeah. I was personally skeptical, sir. I never told you this, but I was skeptical we'd be able to get that thing done by July.
Yeah, there was something where like he was wearing a blue tie while Trump and not Ted Cruz, the other guy, Marco Rubio, was wearing red ties because he was in disagreement with them. So he was kind of skeptical about the whole big bill that just passed. So let me hear what he has to say.
forth. We did it because we worked together and we worked very well. So it's an honor to be a part of it, but I'm really proud of you guys for doing a great job.
The beautiful thing about it, it had something for everyone.
That's right.
Most people said it had to be broken into 7 bills. It's so big. The problem was that some of those 7 have nothing for anyone, but they had to be done for, sometimes you have to do things for the country that aren't necessarily popular. We had a couple of them, and that wouldn't have worked. So the one big beautiful bill.
I hate these cuts. Just let it play out. Just let the fucking video play out. Just keep it on one video if you can't keep up with everybody.
Many people said it could never be approved. Too big, too everything. Is too much. But it had something very big and very important for everyone, and it's great for the country. And remember, the Democrats have come up with a false narrative, just whatever. It's just a lie that they send to everybody and that they print. I think in the case of this, it's death. Everyone's going to die. I heard that. Everyone's going to, just the opposite. Everyone's going to live. What we're doing is saving our country and making it much bigger, better, and stronger than it ever was. I'd like to ask, Marco's been doing such a great job. Do you have anything to say?
Well, it's just going through a list here, Mr. President, and I think the Vice President's pointed out to the great team you have, and all these achievements that have happened domestically. But you think about it, under your leadership, we prevented and ended a war between India and Pakistan. NATO's now at 5% for the first time ever, the highest numbers ever. A peace deal between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. A 12-day war that ended with an American operation that we're the only country in the world that could have done. Hopefully, pretty soon, a peace deal between Azerbaijan and Armenia. The entire Middle East and the infrastructure of it has the potential now to change because of Syria and Lebanon, and it hasn't even been 6 months.
Sure.
It hasn't even been 6 months, so it's a great testament to your leadership in this team.
Well, thank you very much, and you've done a fantastic job. And could I just ask Linda, she's involved in so much, she's so talented and so good, and she's working on a couple of little things like Harvard, who was given $5.5 billion over a short period of time. We caught him on that one, that's crazy, but you're working on so much, you want to bring education back to the States. How are you doing?
Well, absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity. I think on the big, beautiful bill, what we saw, was school choice, that's finally on a national basis at the state level, but there are opportunities now for scholarships, more and more of them for kids who are in schools. It's going to be a big turnaround. I think one of the biggest accomplishments we had over the past week was the University of Pennsylvania with the Title IX ruling that Leah Thomas was stripped of her title, Riley Gaines and Paula Scanlon and other women who have stood so strong against men and women's sports. And when you put out the the executive order, that just solidified it and gave them the opportunity. So those are a couple of really, really big wins, and thank you for that opportunity.
And how are you doing with Columbia and Harvard?
We're negotiating hard. I think we're getting close to having that happen. It's not wrapped up as fast as I wanted to, but we're getting there.
Okay, good. And you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
It's been a good team.
Yep. You have a great team.
Around this table, a lot of people help with that.
That's right. Thank you very much. Maybe just in closing, we spent a lot of time, effort, very little money on this room. This is called the Cabinet Room. It's been here for a long time. And it had some pictures that were not many of them and not very good ones. And I actually spent time in the vaults. The vaults are where we have a lot of great pictures and artwork. And I picked it all myself. I'm very proud of it. That's Andrew Jackson, great Andrew Jackson. That's a gentleman named, and we call him President Polk. He was sort of a real estate guy. He was, people don't realize he was a one-termer, but he was a very good president. And I'm not sure I should be doing this, he actually gave us the state of California. He was doing it. He was doing it.
Damn, during the whole Mexico thing, you want to say that right? That's bold as fuck, bro. You're fighting. Oh, the protesters in Mexico, they're crazy too. It's getting wild out there.
Maybe he won't be there for long. But if you notice, the frame is the exact same size almost as the other one is Andrew Jackson. So that was a part of the reason too, I have to be honest. But Polk was actually a very good president who's got the same frame that I needed, okay? And up here you have the original George Washington right behind the light. And then you have Dwight Eisenhower, who was a very underrated president. He built the interstate system, and he was the toughest president, I guess, until we came along. But I don't mind giving up that crown because I don't want to be too tough on it. But we want to be humane. But he was the toughest president on immigration. He was very strong at the borders, very, very strong. And sometimes you can be too strong. He was strong on the borders, and during a certain period of time, they were so strong that almost every farmer in California went bankrupt. We have to remember that. We have to work together. We have to remember that. But he was a very good president and a very good general and a very good president, and I thought he deserved a position somewhere on this floor.
Picked up the kids.
Aww.
And, or not the kids, Rayco.
Yeah.
He said as he was picking up Rayco, Josiah and Asa saw him and they ran towards him.
Yeah.
And Josiah thought it would be a good idea to open up the defibrillator that's in the office. You know the thing that people put on your chest when you're having a heart attack?
Okay.
You know they have like the little emergency things on. Sometimes some office buildings will have like an emergency.
Yeah.
He like opened it up and was trying to mess with it, because Jarrett was too busy talking to someone to pay attention to his kids.
Oh my God.
So my dad's like, Josiah, what do you think you're doing? That's for people who are having heart attacks. And then he closed it up and put it away, and then ran behind the front desk.
This kid. Jeez, that's kind of chaotic.
Yeah. So my dad was like, please watch your kid.
Yeah.
My dad's gonna stop by Staples.
Yeah.
And he was asking if we wanted him to pick up dinner on the way back.
Sure.
And I was telling him to probably sell him cash for the dinner.
Yeah. What did he want to get?
He said he's open. He said he can have the tacos if it's easier or wherever you know how he doesn't really get.
Yeah, he's like, wherever you guys want. Yeah. Okay.
So which one are you leaning towards?
So he's whatever. Okay. What do you feel like? It's really up to you then.
Their fries are pretty good as long as we get the beans on the side.
Yeah. Okay. Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So.
Which one would you prefer
Whichever one. I think Ranchitos has the Al Pastor.
You want Al Pastor?
Yeah. I'll take an Al Pastor burrito. Yeah, just let me know what and I can tell him. And then we'll get that done.
As soon as you're done with that match, you want to just send him like 45? And if he gives you too much, I'll have him send it back to you.
Okay. So you want to give me 45? Or no, you want to give him 45?
For you, me, and Rayco.
Okay.
And then he just takes the fish tacos.
Okay.
Let me see how much I don't have like a thing on here. I don't think. Let me check.
Sounds good though. Yeah.
Assuming burritos cost like $14.
Yeah.
And then fries cost around the same. And then a potato taco maybe is like $4 to $6.
Mhm.
So let me see. I'm just gonna do the upper end just in case. So 14, 16. I'm gonna do between 36 and 40.
Okay. Okay. You want me to tell you or him?
Him.
Okay.
And then if he gives you a little bit too much of it, he can. And then tomorrow we have to leave by 7:20.
Okay. 7:20.
Yeah. And I told him if we're moving too slowly, he can just leave without us, and then Rico can just stay home that day. But
Okay.
he said that if the court thing, it could take a long time, so we would be able to do the. He thinks we would be able to do an Instacart order.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
We just have to go to bed early.
Yeah.
And then Rachel wants to be picked up early so she can go to gymnastics tomorrow.
Okay. So school and gymnastics tomorrow. Okay. All right. I'm gonna send him to 36. 36. You said?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All right. It's set.
So, are you doing the Pokemon game on your?
Yeah, while I'm doing playing Pokemon on the side while I'm doing commentary. I'm mostly watching this, and this is kind of like on the side. It's just like so I don't get bored of just listening, sitting there. I just kind of keep my mind active. But yeah, it's mainly this though. I usually forget this sometimes, and I'm just watching this. But it's just there for like.
Is there anyone watching?
Right now, I think I got 2. But yeah.
It's good how you have it angled because then you can't really see people coming in and out the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the stuff coming in so it raises up a little bit higher, so it has a little bit more angle. Because right now it's kind of straight on, so I'm gonna get the little angle.
Who's watching? Do you know them?
I don't know them. And then I'm gonna get like a mic thing because your brother took his, so I'm gonna get a little mic stand.
It's not in here, right?
I don't think so. But I mean, it was on the Prime deal, so a couple bucks. Might as well do it.
I accidentally bit my lip too much.
You bit your lip?
You know, like the. Skin.
Oh yeah. I do that too sometimes. Ugh. Let's see. Is it the 641-4556?
Yeah.
Okay.
One
Okay.
of our Congress people said that Newsom is starting his presidential campaign.
What? No, he's not.
That's what he said.
There's no way Newsom's gonna go for presidency.
He said he's currently in South Carolina for what is widely regarded as a soft launch.
Oh my gosh! Good luck.
He said of his delusional presidential
That's
campaign.
funny.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch that. Where is it at?
Oh, well, you might want to put like Newsom in South Carolina, but.
South Carolina Newsom, Gavin Newsom. Okay, I'll put that in. I'll see what pops up after
'Cause
this video. This video is almost done anyway, so.
Yeah, this is just the congressperson from California.
Uh-huh.
He's conservative.
Yeah.
And he'll just like post different things that are happening, things that he's doing for California, and then.
I'll check it out. Yeah, that's news. That's breaking news. All right, I sent the date here, Dad. All right.
Thank you.
Uh huh.
And then you have, this is very exciting to me, he was not a Republican, to put it mildly, but he was, you know, he was a four-termer. He was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And if you notice, there were a lot of ramps outside. We have ramp, people say it's an unusual place for a ramp. It was because of him. He was wheelchair-bound. But he was an amazing man. It's an amazing portrait, and we used to have him in the room, a different portrait, and it was a terrible portrait. It was almost like it was done by a child. And I used to say, you know, I can't believe that he would have approved of that portrait of himself. And I was in the vaults and looking at things. I said, what's that? And we have some great curators here. We have 6 curators at the White House. They have 2 for paintings, they have them for furniture, they have them for different things. I guess Costa's no object. Okay, Costa's, maybe I'd have one, but that's all right. But we have 6, and they're very talented, though. And he said, that's a picture of FDR. I said, really? Let me see it. They took off the wrappings, very well preserved. And I said, that's the picture they've been looking for years. That was the picture of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And I said, oh, wow. And likewise, that frame-wise, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work if you have, I want to be nice, but it doesn't work if you have a big frame, a little frame, but it's like perfection. I'm a perfectionist. The mirror was down in the vaults also. I said, where is this from? And it's a very old, very storied mirror, beautiful. We put that up. And then over there is Honest Abe Lincoln. And that picture was in his bedroom. And we thought that this would be a very important place because this is where wars are ended. I'm not going to say wars are declared. I'm going to say wars are ended, okay? We'll be positive. And that's the picture of Abe Lincoln from his bedroom, sat in the bedroom for many, many years. That was his favorite picture of himself.
I don't know what he's talking about, bro. Come on, give me some good stuff.
So we have them looking at each other. It's very, very small. And he was the first occupant of the White House. So I'm in Marco's. I see this gorgeous clock, grandfather clock.
All right, I think they just talking about whatever. All right, let's take up that Gavin Newsom thing. Gavin Newsom, South Carolina? South Carolina. Let's see if anything pops up. Go California touring South Carolina. What's going on?
California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is touring South Carolina today and tomorrow. Newsom is holding small meet and greet events in more than half a dozen counties. Earlier today, Newsom sought to fire up voters he encountered by trying to turn their attention about the stakes in next year's midterm elections.
In 18 months, you have the power to end Donald Trump's presidency. You have that power in these midterms. So I want you to know how important you are. And I want to thank you.
Let me use you. I was kidding.
Being here today, but most importantly, I want to thank you for everything you're doing tomorrow, next month, and next year.
Andy Bryson joins me now, and she's been covering the early parts of the governor's tour of South Carolina.
I totally forgot about this game. My bad. My bad.
It will, of course, continue tomorrow. Annie, what have you seen so far?
Well, what I saw on the ground here in Bennettsville was a crowd, and I mean a crowd that was engaged and excited about Governor Newsom's visit. I spoke to some local women who said that, you know, their local Democratic meeting usually gets about 8 members a month, and we guessed that there were about at least 70 people in the audience for Governor Newsom's meet and greet this afternoon. Need a crowd that was engaged and excited about Governor Newsom's visit. I spoke to some local women who said that, you know, their local Democratic meeting usually gets about 8 members a month, and we guessed that there were about at least 70 people in the audience for Governor Newsom's meet and greet this afternoon. And, you know, they really were excited to see Newsom because they feel that he's more aggressive than other Democratic governors and leaders in the party, and they like how assertive he is and how much he pushes back against Trump. You know, they spoke about previous governors that have visited and said they kind of feel they're more timid, but they're really standing by Newsom. And even though he hasn't come out and said that he's planning to run in 2028, you know, this was a strong start in what could be the first primary state.
Annie, you made an important observation about 2028. Nothing's been announced, but unless the Democratic National Committee changes its rules, South Carolina first in line in the nominating contest for 2028. So it seems that it's possible, very possible, that Gavin Newsom is trying to lay the groundwork at least for something there.
It definitely felt that way on the ground tonight, or this evening. You know, Governor Newsom was really mingling around the room. He spoke to, I think, pretty much everyone that was in attendance. His speech was about 16 minutes long, but he really made sure that he was making an impression on voters here in Mobile County, a county that went for former Vice President Kamala Harris in the 2024 election.
Annie Bryson, traveling in South Carolina. We appreciate it very much.
The big, beautiful bill passed. Of course it did. Of course it did. We all...
I already knew that one. Let's see. Let's watch it again. Let's do some more. I need some more.
Unless she brings up the cash. Now, just for the record.
So, some people are saying that this guy's running for president on the midterms instead of AOC. I guess Democrats are trying to figure out who they're going to vote for against Trump on the midterms.
I just want to go on record, and I'm going to get close to you to talk about one of the privileges that I've had over the last number of years, being here with Joe Biden, coming back in different occasions over the course of the last 20 or 30 years that I've been in public office, is being able to reach out to people all across this country. And as a consequence, we have built a pretty large database. And I just want to tell you, I want you to know your status, Madam Chair. It was one email that generated $160,000 for the party. So the Democratic Party in South Carolina. That shows your status, your importance, and the importance people all over the country place on the work you do every single day. So I want you to know this. You matter, and people care all over the country. There was a reason President Biden was here for that primary about a year ago. It's because you matter and you care. And it's a point of pride for me to have been there a year ago to make the case for him. It was also a point of privilege, not so easy, to be his chief surrogate the night of the debate, you may recall. You think you had a tough job. I say this with love in my heart. Love in my heart. But love for my party, love for my country. And I appreciate that you appreciate that as well, because you wouldn't be here today. By definition, you'd be home. You'd check out. I'm an hour late after all. You looked at me and goes, no, I want something better than a speech. And so I just want to express gratitude and appreciation, because we're here at a remarkable moment in our history. And I know that's rote and cliche, but you know, this has been an alarming 6 months. And no one's going to play, we're not here to do I told you so. No, I imagine you have a few friends that I told you so. This is what you expected. But in so many ways, we did tell people. But I got to say, coming from the most un-Trump state in America, California, even we didn't expect it. And it just made the shock and awe the last 6 months. And I want to underscore that and highlight that. I had the privilege of being in Mullins a moment ago. We were in Florence, and I shared that just yesterday was the 6th anniversary.
I mean, yeah, he's not wrong. We got the hardest protesters in LA, so.
Of something that's become more and more familiar all across this country. You understand it intimately here in South Carolina, the South more broadly, North Carolina. The devastation, obviously, of this horrific experience and event we've had in Texas. But 6 months ago, yesterday, in the state of California, we had a winter wildfire. In the middle of winter. One of the most devastating wildfires in American history. 100-mile-an-hour winds with fire attached to it. Took out 18,000 structures, 30 people's lives were lost. Community completely torn asunder.
And you're gonna sell it to BlackRock, bro.
It was the 6-month anniversary of something that should unite us as Americans. After all, we're all bound together by a web of mutual. And we were there, a very solemn occasion, but also celebratory, because it was the fastest debris removal in American history. 96% substantially complete, everybody rowing in the same direction, recognizing we have to work together across our differences. And we were hoping, just expecting just a little, little tip of the hat from the President of the United States. 6-month anniversary, after all. And instead, we got nothing on Truth Social. Kept checking. Maybe using Twitter to check the X. Nothing. And right before our press conference, Mayor Bass, the mayor.
Hello?
So could you put the phone order in? One of the dogs threw up on the floor, and Eden was slipping on it, and now I have to clean up another mess.
Ew. Okay, sounds good. So you want me to tell your dad what it is?
If you could just order it, call Ranchito, because he's heading over there.
Okay, call Ranchito up and then give our order.
Just say just say one fish taco in addition to our order. So our order is the fries without with the beans on the side, beans and pico on the side.
Okay.
And then one potato taco, and then your I forgot what it's called.
Okay, sounds good.
Your burrito.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you. Yeah, just add his one fish taco to the order, and he'll pay for everything.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, I was gonna do it, and then I fell up on the floor. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Okay, gotcha. All right, bye.
All right, bye.
All right, let me call Ranchito up. I got throw up on the floor where the dog is. Nice. Ranchito. Hold on, gang. Hi, I wanted to order a pickup for pickup. Oh, sorry, order for pickup. Sorry.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh yes. What can I get for you?
Can I get an order for pickup for can I get one fish taco?
One fish taco with cabbage or lettuce?
Cabbage.
Okay.
Could I get one potato taco?
One potato taco?
Could I also get one of the al pastor burritos?
Okay.
And then could I also get the super fries or the Canasada fries?
Okay.
Could I get with the beans and the pico on the side?
Beans and pico on the side?
Yeah, I'll it's because my daughter doesn't like it, but I like it, so I keep it.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be it.
Can I get a name for the order?
It's gonna be for Joey.
Okay, we're all Sanderson and Florida next to Kings. Your total is 4113, and it should be ready in about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, let's call John. Let's see, John. Oh, Connie just called me. Let me call him back in a bit. John. Man, I haven't called him in a while. Hold on, let me see. John. Menu phone.
Please leave your message.
See if Reiko answers her phone now. Reiko. All right. Hey, Rico. Hey, so just let Grandpa know that I put the order in and it's gonna be ready in 10 minutes.
Grandpa's getting the order right now.
Oh, he's at the store now?
Huh?
He's at the restaurant now? He's at the restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I just put it in not too long ago.
Okay.
What's
All
up,
right.
Daddy?
Hey, I just put it in the order right now. I'm not sure if they already had it ready, but...
She already called your name out, man. She knows who you are, dude.
Dang. All right, perfect, perfect.
Got a reputation over here.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, you should have a fish taco in there.
Yeah, I'm paying for mine, though.
Oh, okay, okay. What do you call it? There should be everything in there. Fries, potato taco, and burrito, I believe it is.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
We're gonna hurry up and bring it to you.
All right, sounds good. I wasn't sure what because like, I guess I had to order through it, so I just want to make sure it was Joey. The name was Joey is all I was gonna try to say.
It's all good. We got you then.
All right, thank you, thank you.
You are, man.
All right, bye. All right, let me call Connie back. My bad, Connie.
You have reached Michael.
Oh, try one more time, and then I'll let it go.
You have reached
All right, he must be busy now, but I did call him back. Did he leave a message? Nope. All right, just want to make sure. All right, back on it. We back on it, guys. Let's check out what he has to say.
Los Angeles. Said, I've got to go. I said, what's going on, Mayor? She goes, well, something's going on in MacArthur Park. MacArthur Park is this beautiful park downtown, near downtown Los Angeles. One of the most diverse cities in the most diverse county, in the most diverse state, California, and our most diverse democracy in the United States of America. And Donald Trump, in order to celebrate the 6th anniversary, decided to send hundreds and hundreds of military troops into the park, into the playground, in the middle of the day, where kids this old had a summer camp. And the kids were taken away and hidden into the buildings as they paraded around with American flags on horseback in military garb and machine guns, all masked. Now, one arrest was made. But what he was doing, he wanted to make a point. Cruelty is the point. Cruelty is the point. So, yeah, that's the world we're living in, and you know it well. That's what motivates him. It's not the United States of America. He wants the divided states of America. You're not even American if you come from a place like California. You remember his response to the disaster in California? He blamed every single person.
Yeah, Karen really fucked that one up.
He blamed Texas. The President of the United States of America. So I'm here with a state of mind that we need to be resolved at this moment. We cannot be complicit at this moment by being passive at this moment. We cannot sit back and be bystanders at this moment. We have got to step in. We've got to assert ourselves. And we have to be okay, cynically, I know why you say it. I told you it wasn't my first time, but I'll tell you when it was my first time. It came a few years back, where, frankly, I felt the Democratic Party had its back to the wall. I felt we were being a little timid. I felt we were on the receiving end of so much. I'm wondering, why are we chasing this? You know, why am I chasing what Greg Abbott's saying, or this guy Ron DeSantis is saying? Why am I sitting here in the United States of America 2022, reading about a major state like Florida rewriting the history books, censoring historic facts, going so far as to take out the race of Rosa Parks because it was perceived as too woke. The anti-woke laws, which were nothing more than anti-black. That's all that was about. What's the whole point of DEI? The assault on DEI, ESG, CRT. Remember that? They were shape-shifting everything, and we, our party, was on the CDN. We were playing defense. How the hell did we allow that to happen? And I'm not naive. But I'm not naive. They were weaponizing grievance. They were separating. They've got a whole network. And I'm not talking about Fox. I'm talking about Sinclair. 185 local stations, redundantly repeating the same storyline over and over and over and over and over and over again. You got One American News. You got Newsmax. Then you have Fox News. Lies. This and this representation. If you think I'm lying, take a look at what I did last week. I sued.
Hey, that girl kind of bad though.
Because it's all at stake. It's all at stake. One of the great parts of this community is, you've got this extraordinary courthouse, culture. I mean, that's all we've got left. I remember, I was taught when I was your age, there were 3 co-equal branches of government. Right now, it appears well, we know one's gone. A guy named Johnson completely abdicated any responsibility and role of advising, consent, and oversight. So all we've got left, maybe, is the courts, or maybe more importantly, the Court of Public Opinion. And maybe that's it is the point I want to emphasize before I let y'all go. You know, I'm old enough to remember Justice Brandeis. My father served as a member of the California Court of Appeals. He used to always quote Justice Brandeis, who said, in a democracy, the most important office is office of citizen. With all due respect, Mr. President, not the presidency. Not governors,
Damn.
not mayors.
140 was just enough.
Respect members of our represented bodies in state legislatures. It's an office of citizens, but it's active, not.
So he's going to be running for the midterms? Or is he just bolstering up the Democratic Party, getting ready for AOC? I'm trying to figure that one out. Cop told the truth. Officer goes off on black community with brutal truth? What is going on?
Good morning, everyone. 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock on your Saturday morning. We start with tragic breaking news out of downtown Indy. IMPD telling us that 7 people were shot and 2 have died in a shooting just a few hours ago.
Fuck.
Police Chief Chris Bailey went straight to the...
That's terrible.
...near Washington and Illinois, and the chief did not mince words in a press conference just before 4 this morning. Take a listen.
I don't know how many times I have to say it. We are not your children's keepers. You are. And parents and guardians have got to step up. A kid is dead tonight. And we just don't know the age of the young man down the street, still here, dead. He looks young.
He had a big heart, like he was always there for people.
16 years old. Wow.
Even if you're not his own, like he would be always there.
Damn, 16 and dead. So young, bro. 16? I don't remember 16, bro.
Aries White is remembering his friend, known as AZ, one of the 2
with a
teenagers
full
killed
sleeve
in a downtown
and a neck
Indianapolis
tat?
mass shooting. He was
Wow.
just 16 years old.
Families that's hurt and kids that don't even get to see a life where experiencing nothing within their time.
IMPD says 7 people between 15 and 21 were shot overnight when hundreds of unsupervised kids were gathered near the Arts Garden. Another teenager, 15 years old, also died at the hospital.
We need our parents and guardians to speak up.
What started this? Why are they shooting? Why was there a shooting to begin with? Who started what? Who got shot first? I need videos. I need body cams.
Charge. To be nosy.
Standing next to Mayor Joe Hogsett, IMPD Chief Chris Bailey says the department plans to add new cameras in strategic locations downtown and to increase police presence along with state officers. Authorities also plan to issue stay-away orders for violent or repeat offenders, all in hopes of preventing those already in trouble from going to hotspots downtown. They're renewing efforts to enforce their juvenile curfew, 11 p.m. for kids under 15 and 1 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays for teens 15 and
You know what? Growing up, my grandma always told me, don't go outside during the 4th of July, because it's a possibility that you can get shot.
You know, sometimes I used to get mad at, like I look back, I used to think about the times when my parents were strict. They wouldn't let me do certain things or go certain places. And now I thank God for that. Thank God for the strict parents that cared and made sure I didn't end up like this. Because that's good parenting. And this is a result of bad parenting and just all around wildness. These young kids is wild. Like,
they're worse than us, bro. Because we could gather in a public building or a public place and never had this problem when I was growing up.
Yeah. They said there was hundreds.
So hundreds of kids end up
There's
to
hundreds
shooting.
of black kids in wherever.
No police. Yeah.
Shots are fired.
Yeah, even on college campuses.
Statistically speaking, I mean, we're just being honest. Black men, 6% of the population, responsible for 56% of all murders. 75% of those on other black kids, and you get hundreds of black kids all together. There's a great chance shots will be fired.
I don't understand, like, why these young...
I saw a post, I think it was from Philly. They're on a front porch, and then you just see shots going boom, 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 like on 2 different decks. And there's like a car going by, and there's a grip of people in the patio all ducking, and I think over 100 rounds were shot. Apparently, it was like caught on like those ring lights, you know, the doorbell cameras. You know what I'm talking about? There's a bunch of it's on Twitter right now. It's crazy.
Kids are just so violent. Like I can't seem to wrap my head around it. Like why are they just so comfortable with just killing one another?
It's the culture in the Democratic Party.
Why do you have to fight though? Like I don't understand. Like why you gotta have guns and fight and do all that?
It's past that.
I just don't understand this shit, bro.
And you got also think, you know, we don't even know these kids was in gangs, so we don't even know how deep this shit really. Yeah, we don't know how deep this shit really can get. So
it just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's crazy. Like when they do all of this and they up police, then they're gonna say they're trying to lock us up more. They're trying to oppress us.
Right.
But when you see shit like this, it's like, can't blame them for adding more police on the streets, bro.
6% responsible for 56%. There's nothing you can say about that. Numbers don't lie.
I'll just add on a little bit to what she said about our thoughts and prayers for the victims here tonight, their families, and the long road ahead for all of them as we try to uncover exactly what and why this all happened tonight. This kind of violence, whether downtown.
Oh, it wasn't even the cop that killed him. I thought it was a cop that killed a kid. It was a kid killed another kid. Got it.
Or any of our neighborhoods is completely unacceptable and unnecessary. Unnecessary. Thousands of people came downtown tonight, enjoyed the fireworks, and went home. Thousands more chose to come down here and
I could hear in the background a dude hitting on a girl right now. Hey, I seen you before on Instagram. Hey, I know you from.
Right.
Throwing the Riz during a crime scene is crazy.
Cause trouble. I was down here until about 12:30 tonight. I worked with my officers, took the runs with them, dealt with the disturbances, dealt with the utter disrespect for our city, for our laws.
He's hot.
And for law enforcement.
Rightfully so.
Hundreds of unsupervised kids.
If they took a poll of the kids out there, what percent of them kids have a dad at home?
Probably 10. And you know, I hate to make that a statement, but you know, the fatherlessness is why we have this type of behavior and these type of incidents.
Do you know why I wouldn't have went there when I was a kid?
Because my dad wouldn't let me.
He looks young. It's unacceptable. The police department all night long went from place to place to place.
Nothing they can do.
Trying to prevent these kind of things. And I gotta be honest, I'm tired of it. You should be tired of it. This is not our job to do this. It is unnecessary. You don't have to act like this.
He's right.
He's 100% right.
Our officers, half a block away from before this shooting started, dealing with another group of individuals fighting. We made almost, probably, well, we're still tallying them, about 20 arrests tonight. Recovered guns that I know of before this happened from 2 kids. One of them was an assault rifle stuffed in the front of his pants.
An assault rifle stuffed in front of the pants? That's fucking crazy. That thing is pretty big. It's like, at least the smallest rifle can be like this big. Just stuffed in the front. That's wild.
Sure anymore what it's going to take for some in our community to wake up. I've said it. This is where the kids are.
You know what? It's sad.
This is Indiana, right?
Say if it's keep building up like this, it's gonna get to a point where there's gonna do a mass incarceration.
Getting smoked. Yo,
Well, they
it's
already
young
doing that,
scholars
I
getting
guess,
smoked.
they say.
Yo, this
I
title's
mean, I
crazy
don't-
right here. Police chief goes off all over young scholars getting smoked during July 18. That's crazy. That's a crazy freaking.
It's a mass incarceration when you look up the stats. That demographic is doing the crime.
Yeah.
You do the crime, you go to jail.
You're going.
So if one group of people disproportionately commits violent crimes, they will go to jail more.
I'm just not understanding why the kids are so violent. Like you said, they just catching them with guns and all this stuff. What is going on? The
They're
kids
gang
are
members,
lost.
bro.
The kids are lost. Like this was not a normal thing when I was coming up.
They thugging now,
It
bro.
was starting to get there.
Think about it. Kids walking around with masks on, full body thermal masks, and think it's all right. So
When 7 teenagers were shot in March of 2024 in nearly the same downtown location, IMPD said it would enforce youth curfew laws. And after 4 months, officers picked up just 3 kids for violating it. And IMPD said it wasn't tracking curfew violations. It's not clear why IMPD stopped enforcement. And Chief Bailey is pleading for parents' help.
Set clear boundaries from parents and guardians to their children. Talk to their kids about what the curfew is. Decide how often they would check in. Pick the best ways to stay in touch. Use technology to know where they are.
People like Aaron Green with Struggle Made Us, who works to combat crimes from young people, says kids need more safe places to go.
We can find outlets to give them things to do because these kids don't have anything to do. So we're telling them not to go in different places where everybody is going, but there's really no safe spaces for them to go where they can kind of be themselves, have fun.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because it seems like when you go somewhere every day, it's always something gonna happen.
he talking about a safe space, but the space was safe until they came and shot it.
I don't think, giving them another building to do this same behavior,
it's not gonna change.
You know,
it.
they're making it seem like it's just not safe to be outside when it's a kid, like as a kid, but it's not the fact that it's not safe. It's the fact that the kids are making it not safe. So why would you make an outlet for the kids who seem to go out and find trouble to to all be there.
They probably might have more security. Probably.
I don't know, man.
That's the only thing I can say.
I just think these type of groups, they just don't want to like. They're trying to like, oh, let's find them an outlet and all these things, but let's address what the root cause of the issue is. The root cause of the issue is that you got bad kids that are being dangerous and causing trouble. How do you fix a cancer? You cut it out. You don't just move. You cut the cancer out. You have to get rid of these bad kids at large. I'm sorry. That to me is the solution.
It is. If y'all ain't gonna have if we're not gonna have dads, then we're gonna have to just gotta go to jail.
The state.
Oh wow.
The state gonna be the daddy.
That's pretty.
Bro, if they out here shooting, bro.
You're shooting
we ain't
people.
gonna have dads.
If we're not gonna have dads at home to discipline the kids, the state will discipline them.
Oh yeah.
That is a completely normal.
I just think these kids are just stupid, man. Like, they're just like misguided. They're bad kids. It's like
they're not stupid. They are, but it's not their fault. Whenever it's the parents had no guidance.
Yeah, it's like the kids can be. It's not stupid. It's just bad parenting. I don't know. I wouldn't let my kid go out like that, no matter how unruly it gets. But I mean, I don't know. Mexicans don't really do that. I guess they're pretty at home most of the time, especially the girls. But yeah, that sucks.
So then these kids have kids, and then their kids have no guidance, and then those kids will have kids, and those kids will have no guidance, and then it's a never-ending cycle, and that's where we are. That's where we are in the black community. That's why we get on here and we call it out. I know it sounds harsh what we say and all this, but it's because we genuinely want better for the black community. We know that you don't have to act like this, and you need to someone need to whoop your ass and tell you this shit, you ain't going out there with them, and this shit is not right. Or
I don't
else
think
the
that's gonna
state.
fix it, bro.
So you don't think having dads in the homes will fix it?
Bro, a lot of them people that do have dads, some of them be gang members. A lot of this shit
That's
is
what I'm saying. Okay,
affiliated.
yeah. So
a lot of this is gang affiliated.
So it's too far gone.
It's too far
It
gone.
is too far gone.
I'm gonna be real with you, bro. It's just too far gone.
We gotta just pray for the black
That's why-
community, bro. We gotta pray for the black community because Jesus can save the black community. I don't think the state can't.
Yeah, yes they are. They got
Amen. Amen.
prison.
They just said that the juvenile is it's over flooded.
Damn.
bad.
So
They said it's over flooded.
that's what they
It's crazy.
just said. Yeah. So I mean, what do you do with them?
They gonna build some more.
Yeah, I guess so.
I know where my kids are at all times. So maybe that's, maybe I shouldn't be that way. 16-year-old daughter. I cannot imagine letting her roam around down here tonight like she was, like kids were.
Damn right. I ain't letting my kid out ever. 16-year-old, you can stay inside.
Unsupervised. Nothing to do.
Especially when you know there's a bunch of guns out in the streets. Like, bro, fuck that.
Some of these individuals that were shot could have been very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever. But it just caught up in a crossfire. Merely down here enjoying ice cream. Or maybe they were down here for the fireworks or wanted to see what's going on in the circle and got caught up in whatever's happening. But look, nothing good happens after midnight. Some of these kids should not have been out here, period. They missed the bus going back. With some of the stories that we heard, one of our officers prevented two young girls from getting into a stranger's car because they missed the bus to go back home. Wait, you have no ability to call your parents? Your parents wouldn't come pick you up if you missed the bus?
Yeah, no.
There is a problem. There's a problem.
There's a problem.
It's not going to be solved by the police.
I know
It's not.
I know he's being super serious too, but yeah, he's talking about the upbringing of the kids. They gotta get their parenting in line, and I need you to make more money. Yeah, yes, I do. Still no car at the moment though. A buddy moved back to Cali. He might go solar in future. That's my next Project in mind.
It's our job to try to keep people safe, and they did it tonight. I watched it with my own eyes. I helped do some of it. They did all the work. They ran toward the gunfire down here as they were working another fight.
Defund the police.
They're all in. They're all
It's
in.
the wildest shit ever.
So when I hear people say, oh, we're just worried about minor things in downtown Indianapolis. No, minor things turn into big things. The amount of guns that I saw tonight
When I get a chance,
on people roaming around here with nothing else to do.
I'll see if he.
We can't do anything about it. Like, unless you're a kid, you're not. There's nothing unless you're doing something with the gun or doing something illegal. We can't go up and ask you what you're doing with the gun. That turns into bad things, especially when there's fights or when there's alcohol or there's weed induced.
It's all three.
So can you confirm it was one juvenile and then one adult was dead?
We know for sure that there is one dead.
He has big
kid.
plans.
The other one, this dead individual, we're still. There's been nothing that occurred to make any kind of positive ID on that. I guarantee you, we're gonna share everything over the next day or so. All the arrests, what they were for.
Sickening. But it is just another day in the hood.
It's not even in the hood. This downtown metro.
Yeah.
This is sad, bro.
It is sad.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that this is this type of stuff is going on in America, and this has happened to our youth. But like you said, it's a parental issue, and somebody's got to do something. But if nobody does nothing, then the police has to start putting these kids in jail. They have to start finding the source and locking these kids up, and the punishment has to be harsh.
That's what it is.
You have to deter kids from doing this. But I don't know if putting them in jail is the answer.
This might be an extremist
It is
solution.
the answer, bro.
This
They
might
find
be-
religion. They read.
Don't say what I think you about to say.
No, this might be an extremist solution, right? This is what we'll do. For the adults that have been convicted of murder, this is why I couldn't be the president, y'all. For the adults who've been convicted of murder, for about 50% of y'all,
Does percentage?
y'all going to El Salvador or somewhere else.
Oh, that's
Y'all are
better.
getting deported. Too many people in the prisons? Cool. We'll empty them. 50% of the people convicted of murder gone.
So you telling me they lose their citizenship?
Then we're going to take those buildings and make them juveniles so that we can throw these juveniles in there next.
Hold on.
Maybe
If you commit
should-
crimes with me being the president,
got
your
an
ass
idea.
is going to jail.
So
And
somebody.
if you're an adult and you murder, you're getting deported most likely.
Nah, I got an extremist solution. It might sound crazy. We losing illegal immigrant farmers and workers and builders. Teach them how to do it in jail. Make them work for pennies on the dollar.
They do that.
Yeah, especially in Louisiana. You didn't see what Angola be doing to their
I don't
prisoner?
know why we don't do that everywhere.
It's not a problem.
Since we got to
They
Trump
do
said
that.
mass
They get state free
deportations,
labor.
job sites is, hey, watch them, put the snipers up there, build that shit, get back in that cell.
Hey,
I'm just saying, like, that's
But
gonna
it's too full is the problem, so we gotta get them empty. So that's
Hey,
why,
brother.
if you convicted of murder, you're getting deported. I'm gonna keep it 100. This is gonna be a crazy
I ain't
take,
gonna lie.
controversial
Yeah,
take.
listen.
We're sitting here deporting. Like, I know we have to deport illegal immigrants, but some of them are actually upstanding citizens who are tax paying. And then on the other hand, we have violent, murdering people who are taking taxpayer dollars to live in jail. So deport them. Deport them. Deport the murderers. In Alabama, they tried to pass a bill for that, and I would have voted hell yes.
I gotta keep it 100, man. Like we talking about the jails are too full, but I mean, if people know if you go to jail, you gotta go be a low-paid worker and slave all day, and then get back in your cell and wake up and do it again for a 30-year sentence. Oh, they gonna stop going to jail.
I don't know if they will, man.
They gonna say that's against our
shit.
human rights.
Human rights? You done
Nah.
violated that. You killed somebody.
Deportation.
You killed
Deportation.
somebody. What about his human rights? You are us. You are property of the state, boy.
Send them to El Salvador is what I say.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just think like you gotta find a way to deter them. I think knowing that you're gonna be in jail.
Let them go give Africa free labor. See
No,
how they like it.
They're gonna be wreaking crime in Africa. Africa got enough problems.
Oh no.
But you know what?
They
We got
surround-
hard
They
labor.
gonna see what they gonna go. You a gangster? You gonna go? What you looking for, buddy? Let us know what y'all think.
Okay. Okay, well,
It's time
damn.
for lefties losing it and
16-year-old passing away. It's always sad. Sorry, I was texting a buddy of mine that does solar, and I was trying to line it up for another buddy of mine that's gonna get solar. But something about the credits for the solar is in jeopardy because of the big beautiful bill. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna ask for more info when I call him on that later on. But that's pretty interesting to me. Okay. I think I'm gonna go check on the dinner thing. I'll come back later on tonight. After dinner, after everything's done, when everybody's asleep, I'll come back on and knock out the second part of the stream. I'm trying to do it all in one during the daytime, but since I didn't get here till later because there's so many errands to do, what I'm gonna do is check out this David Pakman's. I'm gonna do the David Pakman's video for the liberal side, because usually I do conservative side first and then liberal side, and then, you know, just kind of go back and forth on it. Hold on, someone's calling me again. Hey.
Hey, if you want warm food, you gotta come down here.
Oh yeah, I was wondering where you guys were at. I'm like, no one's called me about the food coming though.
Ree tried to call you, I tried to call you.
Oh, weird. That's weird. It didn't come through.
Oh, Brianna didn't try to call you. I tried to call you and it didn't get through. It went to solar.
Weird. All right, I'm gonna come down.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
So I'll be on later on tonight. I'm gonna go eat dinner, and then get all the night stuff out the way. I actually have to wake up pretty early. I do want to get this video done though. It's an hour and a half. I'll probably go on stream for that. Maybe play a couple of games here. Maybe play Hero of the Storm right after that. But yeah, I'll be back later on today. Usually I go on around 9:30, I believe, tonight. But yeah, I'll see you guys then.
Usually you need a lot.
Peace.